There's so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too. They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz. You put some mustard on that.
I put some stank on it because
stinky line of mustard.
and that big old stinky line of mustard is here because it's time to celebrate the 4th anniversary of this podcast.
I hate that. I love you. I love everybody.
What a great mood to
I love
bring to the
everybody
beginning.
listening. 4 years is a long time, though. Can you even believe it?
Kind of no,
How is
honestly.
that possible? Is it? Are you right that it's been 4 years?
I really hope so. I built this whole thing around our 4-year anniversary, but yes.
Have I lived in this house for 4 years? I bought this house when COVID started. Oh my God, which was 5 years ago. Almost.
Yeah, there we go. Well, as Sam reckons with his aging and just the passage of time in general, I will verify that, yes, this is the 4th anniversary of this podcast. This week, we started in March of 2021.
Time genuinely did fly. We must be old men because time doesn't feel like it exists.
It is something to think that we were 33-year-old men when we started this podcast.
That's not anything, though. That's not young.
Right, but you don't think 33 feels a little different than 37?
No, not yet. I still feel about
interesting.
the same, which seems good, I guess. Maybe bad. Maybe I'm not advancing.
See, I
Maybe
feel like
I'm
I hit
stuck.
36 and my body was like, what if we speed run to 45?
Oh,
and so
interesting.
the past like year and a half, I'm like, oh God, this is, I feel age creeping up on me here.
That hasn't hit me yet. I'm still quite limber.
Well, congrats.
Maybe I'll never die.
Maybe you're like that dude who drinks his son's blood or whatever.
Oh, I do drink my son's blood. I forgot.
Now we solved it.
Yeah.
Well, just like how we commented in our recent Ask Hank Muppets episode that we occasionally do episodes that don't move the needle on catching up with the Muppets. We're going to do another one of those.
I thought you meant like people listening to them. You were like, unlike our episode with Hank Green, most of our episodes nobody listens to.
No. Just like the Hank Green episode,
Yes.
this one does nothing to help us catch up with our chronological order.
Oh no. It's doubly taking away from our lives in a way, if you think about it.
Well, I like to think of it as a very special episode.
Oh, okay.
If I want to reframe this.
It's like an anime filler episode. Everybody hates anime filler episodes. Go to the beach.
Again, I hope that's not the case here. And I hope people actually really enjoy this episode because it is a very special one. For our 4th anniversary episode, we are going to be filling out a Muppet Madness bracket, which if you have not heard us talk about yet, is a bracket featuring 128 Muppets that we have discussed on this podcast. The majority of them are Muppets that we featured in our Muppet of the Week segment. And then we had to add in some additional Muppets to fill out the 128. Some of the Muppets who you will hear on this list didn't get their own segment, maybe didn't get the spotlight shown on them, but they are important to the history of the Muppets or represent Muppet media that we have discussed on this podcast and was maybe underrepresented by the Muppet of the Week segments we've done. So I've chosen some ambassadors, essentially, of certain pieces of media, such as an Emmett Otter, for instance, where we didn't have the otters, etc., on our Muppet of the Week list. But it felt weird to not include anyone from that movie. So, you get an Emmett Otter on the list.
There's only so many times you can do a Muppet of the Week where all you say is, they appeared in this one thing and never again.
But then we also have some shows like Little Muppet Monsters that you might think are overrepresented, and you would be correct.
Yeah, they will die instantly. I guarantee it.
So yes, there will probably be some major Muppets not featured on this bracket as well, because we are talking about Muppets that we have seen in things we have watched so far on this podcast. So Muppets that maybe appeared in the 90s or 2000s. I don't know, we ain't seen them yet, so we're not talking about them. And for that, I do not apologize, but I do acknowledge that you might be yelling at your listening device about a certain character by the end of this episode.
We'll do it again in 4 more years. We'll do this every 4 years.
Oh, that sounds like a big promise. But
yeah, we'll do this whenever we have another batch of new guys, I guess. Because maybe in 4 years there won't be that many guys.
Yeah, we're gonna be scraping the bottom of the barrel and doing another here Muppet of the Week. This fish.
We'll have to do like a post Muppets Tonight one, I think.
There we go. Well, I also want to fully acknowledge that the idea of a Muppet Madness bracket is not a wholly original idea. Muppet Wiki has a whole page about various Muppet Madness brackets that have happened through the years. Previous Muppet Madness tournaments were run by Joe Hennis and Ryan Rowe of Tough Pigs and Steve Swanson of the Muppet Cast in 2010. Theirs were also set up like NCAA brackets with some different rosters from year to year. But the biggest differences between theirs and ours is, one, none of their brackets contained this many Muppets. And two, theirs were determined by fan vote, not by picking the winners themselves. And ours is a completely subjective decision based on mine and Sam's opinions as we debate these 127 matchups over the next couple of hours.
But it is definitive. Once we've made this choice, this is actually the best Muppet.
Yeah. This is the best, most favoritist Muppet, both subjectively and objectively.
Yeah. Can they find the one that we did on our Patreon where we had them fight each other to the death?
Yeah, I believe I posted that to most of our socials. We did an evil version of this bracket on our Patreon live stream a few weeks ago, where we kept the seeding the same, all the same Muppets against the same Muppets, except instead of determining our favorite, it was determining which one could. We started off saying beat up or defeat. It ended up being which one could kill the other.
They got desperate by the end. Once they tasted blood, they couldn't stop.
I think we got the taste for blood, where we were like, he could totally kill him.
Well, once you get to certain guys, it is like they're gonna kill them or nothing, right?
Yeah, if you've got if you got a Gorg versus a Fraggle, they might outsmart them on the show, but if we lock them in a steel cage, one of them's coming out alive.
So yes, folks, we've done this one time already. We will have done this twice.
I also wanted to run by you, Sam, the winners of those previous Muppet Madness brackets, just to sort of throw it out there of who has won these fan votes in the past. Okay. And it's worth noting that they did change the roster up year over year, so it wasn't always the same batch of Muppets against the same batch of Muppets. In 2010, the winners were Bert and Ernie together.
Okay.
2011, Super Grover. I will say he doesn't feature on our list. Grover does, not Super Grover.
He's not a distinct guy. I don't know why they'd make him a distinct character. But
2012, Kermit the Frog won.
Sure, boring.
2013, Rolf the Dog won.
Hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, honestly, probably the number one seed if we were ranking the ones in our current bracket.
He's a smart money.
2015, The Great Gonzo. 2016, they changed things up and did an election for Muppet President.
Oh.
Which somehow Uncle Deadly won.
No.
I have to imagine that's hot off the heels of the ABC series.
Yeah.
So people were like, oh my God, I didn't think about this guy before, and now I love him.
I don't know. He's too dramatic to be president.
I mean, at this point.
I mean, honestly, I think he would have similar qualities to our current president in terms of making rash decisions.
Yeah, not a bad nickname for our current president.
No, that's true.
And then they did it again in 2018, and Cookie Monster was the winner that year.
Okay, that's all pretty solid.
Yeah, and Disney actually did one of these as well in 2012 called The Third Month of the Year Insanity Bracket.
Oh, sure.
And in theirs, which was also a fan vote, Beaker was the winner.
That's so basic
Facebook?
Disney shit. Yeah, totally.
That's Facebook parents voting. There's probably like Animal versus Swedish Chef versus Beaker or whatever in the last.
All respect to Beaker. I love Beaker, Animal. Mm-hmm. I love all those guys, but yes, they are the ones who are on the most t-shirts. So sure.
Yes. But yeah, we are gonna dive in here in a minute, but I did want to acknowledge that we had some of you submit your prediction brackets to our email address of what you thought we would pick for this bracket. And once we have gone through and filled ours out, which Sam and I have not discussed this at all yet, this will be all brand new information. We will share that filled out bracket, and then I will go and compare the predictions to our final bracket to see who got the most matches correct, and that person will win some commitment merch of their choosing.
Oh, baby. That's exciting.
So if you are listening to this like lotto numbers and you're just like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did it on all of them, just expect an email soon.
There's nothing Matt likes more than give himself some work to do.
You're not wrong. But yeah, Sam, any reflections, thoughts on 4 years of this podcast, aside from your utter shock and awe at the beginning?
I don't want to think about how much time I've spent editing the podcast. That could really lead me down a dark path. But yeah, I mean, I think we've been doing a pretty damn good job. Frankly.
Yeah, it's definitely the longest podcast I've ever had running.
Perhaps it'll be the longest podcast ever
that anyone's ever done.
Yeah, we'll beat the daily in terms of episode count. But yeah, I don't know. I'm having a good time with it still. I think I love the community we built. I think that's the most special part to me is being able to click that Discord when I'm like, Jesus, the world is a grim place, and then see people saying like, "Isn't Kermit neat?" I like that part of it.
Ooh, look at this cool Sesame record I found at Goodwill today.
Yeah, or somehow every single day a person on our thing has found a new piece of Muppet merch at a thrift store,
and like that cool shit too. Not
just like a dirty old finger puppet. Just like, here's the new Fisher Price thing. Here's a record. Yeah. Here's a light switch cover. How? I've never seen any Muppet things at a thrift store before. I don't think.
No, I got like one Muppet DVD. Babies plate once, which maybe has lead in it.
How about you? What about your reflections?
Yeah, I think the community is definitely the biggest one, and I don't want to turn this into a Patreon plug, but it is our Patreon exclusive Discord is amazing, and having that as like a backup to, like you said, the bad days, but also for me, I run a lot of like rough draft ideas by our Discord. Like they're sort of the first sounding board after you. Like I'll pitch Sam an idea of like, what if we did this? And he's like, sounds good. And then I take it to our Discord. I'm like, would you guys like this? And sometimes yes, sometimes no. There have been ideas I've thought of for our Patreon or just episodes in general that I'm like, what if we changed everything and did this? And they say, actually, that sounds like the worst idea. And I'm like, well, okay, well, then we're not doing that. So big thanks to the Discord.
You put more stock in them than me, eh?
No, I said I come to you first. But yeah, I think the community in general as well of like finding other Muppet fans online, it was not really a space I had delved into that much. And it's super cool to find, puppet builders as well as other, artists online who are doing Muppet fan art, getting to go to the Museum of the Moving Image a while back to meet so many people and, meet Bonnie Erickson, who made Miss Piggy. Like that would not have happened without doing this podcast. And I honestly wouldn't have appreciated that as much without doing this podcast first. So I think we've talked about, many times on this podcast that we were both Muppet fans. We were both Jim Henson fans, but this has definitely given me more appreciation for the man and his work.
We got to talk to Ding Dang Elmo. Are you kidding me?
And it was great. Teeth and Rolf and we got so many cool opportunities because of this podcast, and I'm sure there are more in our future. Heck, we're about to head to Walt Disney World, which is being paid for in part by our Patreon patrons.
Yeah, very lucky.
All right, Sam. So I think it is about time. We don't want to be here for 4 hours. Because that means Sam will have to edit for 8 hours, and we really, really want to avoid that. So we are going to debate these 128 Muppets. Some might go faster than others.
We have to come to a consensus.
Yes, there has to be a consensus, which I feel like we will, or at least be able to convince the other And I want to warn everyone that the first round matchups might be a little heartbreaking if you haven't taken a look at the bracket already before this.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to know that as a completely random seeding, I fed all 128 names into a thing and shot out a random list. So I had no control over how this list was formed. So.
That's no cheater.
No, well, I just knew that it would take way too much time and also way too much subjectivity to decide on what sort of divisions or brackets we might want to do. So
sure,
we've got some very, very random round 1 matchups. So I imagine by like round 3, things will settle down a little bit more. But round 1, I think there's some quick, heartbreaking decisions that have to be made.
I think there's some hard ones too.
Well, let's start it off with matchup number 1. Ma Gorg versus Marjorie the Trash Heap.
I think this one's marginally hard, but to me, Marjorie, I think, takes it. She just becomes such a less of an established character towards the end of the series, while Ma really like grows a lot. I feel like, even if maybe that's like we get to learn a lot about what's going on inside of Ma's head. She almost takes on like a Marge Simpson quality, where Marjorie's pretty static. So I think that's where I'm a little hung up on this one.
I think, I thought you were coming out the gate immediately saying Marjorie takes it, and then your arguments for Ma Gorg are pretty sound. I think my only argument against Ma Gorg would be that those moments we have of like insight into who she is don't tend to be consistent and quickly go away sometimes. So I don't feel like she is like growing as a person or getting closer to the Fraggles in a way that is, I don't know. It feels like they give her moments of depth, but they don't stick. And to me, as a character, if I want to watch scenes with one of these characters, Marjorie is definitely the one who is a more interesting on-screen personality.
Philo and Gunge get depth, but Marjorie never does get depth, I would say. Also, I think if you're talking about who is a better character in terms of like writing and storytelling and growth and stuff you can, and then like them learning, I think it's got to be Ma, personally. But Marjorie's way more fun to watch. So I don't know. I just don't know how to pick in that.
Well, I guess it comes down to Sam. Who's your favorite?
I guess Marjorie. I love Marjorie. I love that her name's Marjorie.
And that's yours Marjorie.
Too. Okay. This next one, I don't think we're gonna have any kind of debate about. Is my guess. Dexter versus Rolf. I think people who know who Dexter is feel less happy than people who don't know who Dexter is.
Should we remind the listeners who Dexter is for those who maybe don't remember this cursed Muppet?
He's the evil, juggling, tracksuit wearing, clown adjacent. Doesn't talk, or does he talk? He talks.
He has like a goofy, almost season 1 Big Bird kind of voice.
Maybe, like he maybe would sound like what Judge Doom sounded like or something.
Yeah, not that far off. I think
Judge Doom could have turned into Dexter at the end of Buster Bunny's Big Day or whatever. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And that wouldn't have been a shock. And then Rolf is, a perfect angel, possibly going to win this whole thing. So,
no, I think we all have to acknowledge that Dexter is the loser here.
Dexter, how many episodes was he even in? Do we know?
Maybe 1.
Did he only show up that one time?
And then we watched a compilation of clips, so I don't know if that was all from one episode actually, or a number of episodes. Right. But I do like that you did just type Dexter into the spreadsheet as the winner of this round.
I did. I was thinking his dark influence got to me. All right, Matt, you ready for the next one? It's Fozzie Bear versus Janice. This is maybe one of the heartbreaking ones you were talking about, because Janice is great and only got way better in Muppets Mayhem. But I think Fozzie Bear is probably one of the best fictional characters ever created.
That is part of the problem, because I totally agree with everything you said. And, I think these two in any other bracket that was maybe seated in a different way, or in just a smaller best Muppets kind of bracket, they'd both make it pretty far. They are beloved.
Absolutely. Janice could make it 2-3 rounds, I'd say.
But it's hard to disagree with your sentiment of Fozzie Bear being one of the best fictional characters of all time.
He's just so sad. You feel for him. All right, so Fozzie Bear, on to the next round. The next one up, Tug and Gobo Fraggle. Do you know who Tug is? I didn't when we did the deathmatch one. He's a little Muppet monster, right? The big mean brother one.
Let's say, do you remember which one?
Is he the big one?
Yes, because there's Tug, Molly, and Boo.
And Boo is the one who draws infinitely fast.
Correct. And then Molly is the girl, and then Tug is the big brother.
Yeah, kind of the bully big brother. And, you know, maybe in a different universe, Little Muppet Monsters flourished and Tug became akin to Mickey Mouse. But in this universe, he's trash on the bottom of my shoe. And Gobo Fraggle is the main character of a whole TV show that went on for years. So I think Gobo got a win, right?
I already wrote his name down on the board.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I appreciate the context. That is extremely helpful. But I just 1000% agree with everything you just said. That unfortunately, Tug, your show didn't make it.
Yeah,
so
your show
you did not
sucked.
live as full of a life as Gobo Fraggle did.
It was so sad when that show came out and there was a couple things that were like, get excited for Little Muppet Monsters. And then the Little Muppet Monsters theme song still plays at the end of Muppet Babies, which is disturbing in a way.
It's like they're dancing on its grave.
Yeah, nobody knows. So next up, Monkey Fraggle versus Fizzgig. Again, Fizzgig's great. Maybe I think against other people, Fizzgig also could have gotten pretty far.
Fizzgig against Tug? I think he's got that one.
Right. I mean,
Fizzgig is a fun character. Fizzgig is aesthetically great. You just look at, if you Google Fizzgig, you're going to see one image. Him with his mouth wide open, coming at you.
And you're going to be having some fun. But Moki Fraggle, I'm in love with her. She's my wife. I'd like to marry her. She's a sociopath. She's everything I want in a woman. And more.
And Fizzgig
tail
is not.
And yeah, that's true. Maybe for some people.
Yeah.
Maybe for some people. This is giving me idea for a different kind of bracket, Matt.
Well, that'll be the 5th anniversary. We'll come back to the same bracket. But yeah, sorry, Fizzgig.
There. Much respect to you, Fizzgig. Okay, next up, Dog Lion. Or just for Matt, I'll throw him a little treat. Doglion? Is that what you were saying?
No, Doglion.
Oh, Doglion. Yes, versus Sneagle. I've again forgotten who Sneagle is. Is he the mean, pointy man from the church shorts that we were watching?
Correct. He is mean, pointy man who kind of is like an evil Wilkins, who we did like a lot.
He fucking ruled, didn't he?
And for context, Dog Lion won our deathmatch bracket. He was who we decided was the most, I guess, killer Muppet.
Yeah. In my head, Pot, I think in my heart and soul, Pot is the winner because it was them against each other for the last round. But Dog Lion, yeah, I mean, Dog Lion's a deadly guy.
We also established a whole canon as Dog Lion worked his way through Ma and Junior Gorg.
He killed every Gorg, that's right.
Yeah, and so the final battle did come down to Pa versus Dog Lion. Great John Wick-like storytelling, and ultimately in this one...
Sad ending, though.
Yeah, did not get his revenge.
Ending. Didn't go so good.
But in this round...
But he got to be with his family in heaven.
Is there a clear favorite to you?
No, not really. I don't care about Dog Lion.
This is my problem, Sam.
One thing.
I don't think I do either.
Okay. Wow, that surprises me. He's become part of your identity in a way, hasn't he?
He has, but I think if I could somehow have convinced the world that his name was Doglion, I would have maybe have a soft spot for him. But because the world has come at me time and time again, just reminding me over and over that he is a Dog Lion. The final nail in the coffin was the Muppet script live reading, where they were reading the script from the Muppet movie, and in the script it describes him as half dog, half lion, and I was like, well, okay.
And that was a bad day for Matt. So almost out of spite, you're saying you want Sneagle to win because Dog Lion embarrassed you?
I don't, if I didn't go back and listen to all of our episodes, because that's over 250 hours of content. But I have to imagine our feelings about Sneagle were a bit more extreme than our feelings about Dog Lion when we initially talked about him.
I'm sure I said, I fucking love that guy.
I think we got to give it to Sneagle.
Yeah, I think so too. Which is crazy.
Especially partially because I believe that is the true choice, and secondly because we just spent way too long on the Dog Lion Sneagle matchup,
Yeah,
and we've
you're
got
right.
much
Okay, we
harder
gotta move
decisions
on.
to make later on.
Roosevelt Franklin versus Link Hogthrob. Link Hogthrob to me is like the king of missed opportunity, kind of like he's a forgotten Muppet. He's always there in the background. Well, I just feel like he never quite caught on, and I think we've talked about it's because he's Jim, so it's hard for another character besides Kermit to really be prominent.
Right, sort of like the decline of Rolf through the years was mostly because Jim was focusing on Kermit.
Yeah, there's never like an episode where it's like, this is Link's episode of The Muppet Show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's interesting. I think there's something interesting about his whole thing. Same with like Dr. Strangepork is another one who's just like kind of there, and you're kind of like, what's this guy's deal? But you never gonna find out.
I will say, I want to give 2 points for Roosevelt Franklin.
Okay.
1, cultural impact, I think much larger for Roosevelt Franklin. And 2, when we watch Sesame Street, I would look forward to Roosevelt Franklin sketches.
I agree.
1, because the theme song kicks ass.
And I was about to say the same thing. His theme song still plays in my head.
Yes, and Wild Pigs in Space is beloved because of nostalgia. We don't like it. And that's right. Link Hogthrob's main thing. So I think we have to give it to Roosevelt.
I think you're right. Congrats. Next up, Mildred Huckstetter versus Junior Gorg. I don't think any of these fucking losers from the Valentine's Day special deserve it. It's minute of our time.
Wow. I was going to ask Sam to describe who Mildred Huckstetter is.
She kind of a purple bird looking lady.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
I just feel like she's one of those that escapes your memory the most often whenever she comes up.
Because there's like a lot of those ladies. Zelda, Mildred, the woman who made costumes.
Hilda.
There's like that whole, and Zelda and Hilda are the aunts and
right.
That
Sabrina
lady,
the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So it all is just up there in the soup that is my brain. But Junior's great. Junior's
great. I think we have to give this one to Junior. Sorry, Mildred.
I remember I hated Junior so much when he was introduced, like when we first started watching that show. But man, if I didn't come around on Junior.
Well, you don't like big babies for the most part.
I don't, and he turned into less of a baby Huey type of guy for sure.
Well, and if any of the Gorgs have character growth, it is him. He becomes much more interesting through the years in ways that, not a lot of Muppets get character growth or change very much.
King of the universe, for crying out loud.
So yeah, congrats to Junior Gorg.
Next up, Animal versus Mulch. I mean, obviously. I honestly am having a hard time picturing Mulch. Oh,
Mulch is Frankenstein.
Oh, Frankenstein. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the best of him yet because he's a Muppets Tonight guy, right?
I believe he's at least used more in Muppets Tonight. We did see him a few times on the Muppet Show. I think there was a Quasimodo Notre Dame kind of sketch that he was in.
That's right.
And then we saw him also most recently in Muppets Haunted Mansion when we did that episode.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So,
but Animal.
He's up against Animal.
Yeah. And Animal is Animal. Harry Monster versus Bobby Benson. I was going to say I have such a soft spot for Harry, but Bobby's so funny.
I want to hear this argument right now. I want to hear you defend Bobby Benson.
I just think he's such an unhinged idea. Like a cigarette smoking man toting around all these babies. His character design is so perfectly greasy and awful. And you just like fill in the gaps of like, this guy's up to no good. Like there is no good version of this man. I think he's a funny joke. Harry Monster is kind of another guy who's like, he never maybe quite became what he could have become. But he's got some really nice moments.
I think the problem with Harry Monster is that we haven't seen enough Harry Monster.
Yeah, that's probably
true. I think the way we consume Sesame Street, we are missing out on a lot of things. And I think he's a good sidekick and shows up in a lot of Sesame Street content that we haven't seen. And Bobby Benson, I think we've seen all there is to see of.
You're right. Yeah. And I like that he wears those red striped pants. I think that's fun.
Hairy Monster.
Yes, Hairy Monster. Bobby could also, I suppose, wear red striped pants if he wants to, but
my vote would be for Hairy Monster.
I guess we have to pretty much go for Hairy Monster.
But I'm willing to hear an argument here.
No, I think he's better.
Okay.
I don't think there's an argument to be made for
He's
Bobby,
definitely sweeter.
really.
He's, a part of some very sweet Sesame Street clips through the years.
Yeah. Bobby is just like, of many of those like vaudeville guys hanging out in the Muppet Show, like he was one of the more successful. Like I put him on the same level as I put who's the guy, flamenco guy with the mustache who hits the Muppaphones?
Marvin Suggs.
Yeah, like him and Marvin Suggs are like two peas in a pod to me.
I think they're in a similar category. I am glad they both exist. I would not ever pick either of them as one of my favorite Muppets.
They are like a good Simpsons character. Like,
yeah, Bobby Benson definitely feels like he would work in the back room of the Army surplus store or something. But congrats to Hairy Monster.
Waldorf versus Sprocket. Now, I'm maybe starting to understand why Muppet Wiki doesn't split Statler and Waldorf up into two different entries. Because just the concept of Waldorf does nothing for me. Statler and Waldorf, now we're talking. And Sprocket, we had so many great times with Sprocket. I feel like
we might be on record as calling Sprocket the best Muppet, which
I think that might be right.
Put some weight on this, put the thumb on the scale a little bit here. But we split up the pairings for this bracket because I wasn't sure we would have enough Muppets.
Wayne and Wanda. You split up Wayne and Wanda, which is truly evil behavior.
Hey, we have enough Muppets, Sam. we will.
Wayne and Wanda in the death match, they didn't stand a chance apart. They could have been like the Ice Climbers if they had been together and maybe done some moves, but no.
Although they're notoriously known for being destroyed very quickly.
That's true. They get killed more than a lot of other Muppets, which is saying something.
But yes, I think one, we have loved the puppetry of Sprocket. We have loved Fraggle Rock. We have loved Sprocket in Fraggle Rock. I think we have called him one of the best Muppets. And I don't think we've ever said that about Waldorf. So I think this one has to go to Sprocket.
And the soul of Rufus lives on through Sprocket.
Ooh, and I love the way you put that. And there's no way I'm going to vote against him now. And you did it again. You put Waldorf in the winner spot.
Man, I'm sick. Okay. Leave me alone. Next up, Wayne versus Barkley. This one's hard for me because I don't really care about either of them.
Oh, and see,
but obviously it's Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, Barkley is too good of a puppet.
Yeah,
and too just as I've said before in the podcast, Barkley feels the most real to me of almost any full body costume Muppet. And just seeing, if I was walking down the street and Barkley started bounding up to me, there ain't no way I ain't scratching that dog.
That's true. You wouldn't be terrified?
Depends on how much time I have before he's close to me. If he's like a block away and I'm like, hey, it's Barkley. If I turn a corner and he's like 2 feet in front of me, too scary.
Yeah. He's just kind of a ripoff of Snuffy, I would say, in some ways. But
I think he offers something different.
Sure. All right. Elmo versus Sam.
Not you. Not the eagle.
Sam from Sam and Friends, the wooden-headed fellow.
Yes.
Sam's not even the best Muppet on the show named after him. So
no, he is
so that's too bad.
Pretty much a mute. He does lip sync at times, but he is just a wood block head against one of the most popular Muppets of all time.
Yeah, and he might be the worst Muppet on the show that is named after him too. So
don't forget Chicken Liver exists.
Oh, is he on this list? No,
I believe Sam might be one of just maybe one or two representatives of the Sam and Friends. Harry the Hipster is here. We'll see him later.
Okay. Oh, this next one's hard for me. Thog versus the two-headed monster. Two of the most annoying guys to ever do it.
I think this one is interesting because Thog is somebody we came out strong against in the early days of our podcast. We really hated him.
Anti-Thog merch sitting right in front of me.
This is very true. I do think we both grew to like him a little bit more.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. And Two-Headed Monster. Do I like Two-Headed Monster at all?
His part in Muppet Family Christmas is pretty cute. don't you think?
Yes, I will agree.
Then they're
And
the
again,
reindeer.
might be suffering the issue of a Sesame Street character who we maybe personally have not seen a lot of, but maybe if we had seen more, we might have more appreciation for. But I think
I do hate his facial hair, though. Remember?
you do hate his facial hair. So this is sort of big baby voice against ugly facial hair for you.
With also a baby voice. They also have baby voice, pretty much.
And baby voices you can't even really understand.
Oh, dear Lord, help me. I think maybe I like Thog a little bit better. But it's cool. The Two-Headed Monster is a cool puppet. How about that?
That is
But
true,
Thog's
but
a cool
Thog,
puppet too.
also a cool puppet with the Thog-gina.
Remember? Oh, the Thog-gina. Let's give it to Thog. Why not?
My next argument, I was going to be pro Thog as well, but my next argument was going to be when he was a giant kaiju and almost destroyed a city.
That was pretty cool. But there was one where he was being like a creep to Mary Poppins or something. Remember that? He's like singing a gross little song to her.
I think it might have been Mia Farrow in the first, the Valentine's special.
I think that could be correct. I think you're right. Yeah. Next up, Mean Mama versus Brewster. One of, if not our least favorite guy. Because
maybe also one of my least favorite matchups that we have to discuss. Because honestly, don't care for Mean Mama. Don't have many strong opinions on Mean Mama. But Brewster is one of the worst.
Yeah, he's been racist. He's been boring. He's been just bad all around. But yeah, Mean Mama got really far in the fight, obviously. But now I don't think after this round she's going to get much farther. But she is the winner.
Yeah, we can't give this to Brewster.
Next up, Tamanilla Grinderfall versus maybe the person who should have been on here the least, I'd say. Sopwith the Camel. Well, what's
him?
What he's basically set decoration more than anything, right?
Wow. I mean, you're not entirely wrong.
Let me look. If he has tennis shoes on, I'm going to change my tune a little bit.
Well, I don't imagine you'll change your tune completely, but Sopwith the Camel was most memorable for us because in the Muppet Character Encyclopedia, it said something about meeting his wife on camelmatch.com.
Oh, and then you bought camelmatch.com.
And then I bought camelmatch.com because it was available.
That's right.
Take that, Disney.
There's a great Michael Frith drawing of him on Muppet Wiki where he looks pretty cute, but
you're also ignoring the fact that he is up against one of our favorite all-time Muppets.
Oh, yeah. Duh. We also love Tamanilla. That's right. I think she should have stuck around on Sesame Street.
I think she's too scary for Sesame Street.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Speaking of too scary for Sesame Street, next up,
I think you mean too cool for those lamos on Sesame Street.
Right. Leo the Party Monster. He got kicked off of Sesame Street probably. Leo the Party Monster versus Gonzo. Leo the Party Monster. He had something special going on, I think.
Do you remember a single thing about him?
I don't remember even what he looked like.
I was going to ask you what color he is.
He's yellow and he's got a bejeweled vest.
I guessed orange, so.
Yeah. I guess he's kind of orange more than yellow. But Gonzo's Gonzo.
Gonzo's Gonzo up against a Muppet we barely remember.
Gonzo almost transcends being a Muppet into being a human.
I keep getting an ad for some prop store auction that's going on right now. Oh, and they're auctioning off the electrocuted naked Gonzo from Muppets from Space.
I was honestly just at this very second looking at it on Discord.
Yeah, it's every time I go on Instagram or Facebook lately, I just see a naked Gonzo.
He looks hilarious. Yeah, Gonzo rules. From humble origins as a cigar box monster to champion. Next up, Crazy Harry versus Bunsen Honeydew. I think both of these guys are bad people.
One indirectly, one directly.
Yeah. But let's think about this for a second. I mean, Bunsen.
I think Bunsen has to take it.
I think
so. Bunsen's just much more interesting, even though they are still both around. Bunsen, I think, has more of a cultural impact. He's a better looking puppet, in my opinion.
Yeah. But honestly, both these guys are t-shirt Muppets, if you know what I mean.
Wow, that's pretty harsh for Bunsen, I think. I think he has more, or maybe had more potential than just being a t-shirt Muppet.
If we were like in the 90s, we'd be like, Bunsen's a sellout, I think.
I think as we get into 90s and 2000s content, we will sour on Bunsen a bit
We'll
because
get
I
sick
think he
of him.
becomes more and more one note.
Yeah, right. Next up, Robin versus Architect Doozer. This one, are they both voiced by the same person?
Yeah, I believe they are both Jerry Nelson characters.
Huh. I like both of these characters quite a bit. Culturally, it's got to go to Robin if that matters.
Yeah, I feel like maybe as we're doing this, I'm like, maybe we should have had categories. But you know what? Screw that. We're just going to go off vibes.
Architect Doozer, he's such a great little guy, though. But I don't see how he could win. I don't see how he can win against Robin.
I think I like him a lot. For many things from the Frog Prince to the Muppet Show, even just halfway down the stairs, I think Robin has to take it.
I was going to say, I think halfway down the stairs alone seals the deal for him. Next, the Mutations versus Uncle Traveling Matt. Matt's so fucking annoying, and we don't like him.
Okay.
But the Mutations are stupid.
Well, the Mutations are barely anything.
They're barely anything. Yeah.
As an idea, I think they're interesting. I think they're visually pretty interesting. But
yeah,
I think, again,
they don't qualify as characters, really.
Right. There's nothing below the surface there. So I think Uncle Traveling Matt has to take this one.
I think Uncle Matt was more fun once he got back to Fraggle Rock and was just being an annoying layabout.
He was just hanging around. And you forget about him for a couple episodes and he's like, hey, I'm here to cause some more trouble.
Just, sleeping on a chair in the background. And then he's like, okay, let me ruin everything now. Next up, Droop and the Worm from Labyrinth. I don't know. The Worm, I think, is probably... I had more fun in my time with the Worm.
I think we liked Droop a lot when we met him with the Crumpet lives.
Yeah, I think you like that better than me.
Interesting.
I never thought the Crumpet thing never held any water with me.
All right.
I would say. Too rando humor for me.
But the worm.
You have this little sculpture of the worm.
They don't make a Droop.
Well, you could have made one yourself if you really cared.
That's just like a sock with some eyes.
Well, who do you think? What do you think?
I think we give it to the worm.
Yeah, I think we give it to the worm. If you showed 100 people the worm, they would say that's the little worm from Labyrinth. If you showed 100 people Droop, they'd say, get that out of my face.
I hate that guy. I just met him and I already hate him.
Yeah.
I think the worm's moment in Labyrinth is just like so strong that it is better than the Crumpet lives for me.
Next up, Miss Mousy versus Beaker. Speaking of doesn't really count as a character, I would say.
Wow, take that back. Beaker has lasted a long time and is on plenty of t-shirts.
I think, Miss Mousy could have been... Sometimes they tried to play her up like she was a rival to Miss Piggy, but I feel like she was largely absent from being even on screen when they would talk about her. I don't know what her deal was.
Yeah, I feel like she was only around for a couple episodes and they kind of realized they didn't really have much going on there. And so they sort of bailed. Obviously this goes to Beaker.
Remember when Chef was friends with a bird for one episode?
Yeah, he replaced Gladys, I guess, because Gladys worked in the Muppet Cantina for a while and then suddenly was gone. And then there was a big scary bird.
There's a goose sous chef for the chef for one episode. That was really weird. Next up, Statler and Dr. Teeth. I think it's got to be... I don't want to be boring and just say I think it's got to be Dr. Teeth, but this is a similar situation where I think if I was going to say I think I like Statler better than Waldorf, but I think it's a situation where I only like them together. So
I think we can be boring on this one and say Dr. Teeth because he's great and because we have a lot of these to do.
Yeah, okay. Betsy Bird versus George the janitor. Betsy Bird is hot. So that's why she'll win.
Wow, okay. I feel like we have liked George in the past. I feel like...
Yeah, there have been a couple of fun times where George was married to his mop, and that's pretty good, isn't it?
I am pro George in this battle, basically because Betsy is I think in one episode of the Muppet Show at most.
Yeah, but she's hot.
Yeah, but there's a lot of hot people who don't have to be your favorites.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. And George if George had been on the Muppet Show more, then Beauregard would have been on the Muppet Show less. And
I will say, yes, true. I also, the moment when we were watching Muppet Christmas Carol this year, and that old man pops up in the first song, and I'm like, hey, it's George.
If Betsy Bird had popped up, My eyes would have popped out of my head. But
Fun fact, Betsy Bird is the giant turkey they eat at the end of the movie.
No, Matt. Don't say stuff like that. All right. Next up, a battle of two similar guys, Bean Bunny and Boo. Two little guys.
Is this really a battle?
And Boo is the Little Muppet Monsters littlest guy. He draws cartoons very fast. But Bean Bunny is honestly one of my favorite Muppets of all time.
Yeah,
He's
same.
so hilarious.
I don't think we can give this to Boo at all. I mean, I even like being in the Bunny Picnic, even though I don't think I remember enjoying that movie that much.
I think it ran out of steam at the end. I think we liked it at the beginning when they were talking about how much sex they have. And then at the end, it was boring.
Did a lot of math in that episode. But I think as far as a character goes, I do like Bean Bunny, and he is one of those that I miss now that he doesn't pop up anymore.
All right. Convincing John versus Emmett Otter.
What a wild matchup.
Yeah, I don't actually know who I like better.
Convincing John is very likable as a batshit crazy Fraggle Rock character.
Yeah, he had some all-time moments.
And then Emmett Otter is just the sweetest little bean you've ever did see.
Yeah, what's your leaning?
I lean Emmett Otter, but I would like to hear, if you have them, some arguments for Convincing John.
He's Jim. He's no, I don't think I do. I think I lean Emmett Otter too. Emmett Otter's more special in my heart than Convincing John.
Yeah, I don't.
And I think there was like the last couple appearances of Convincing John I was a little disappointed in.
Right. Yeah. This is not an argument in favor of him, but when he is found just wearing that mesh tank top, lounging around, being scummy, I love that moment so much.
It's very good.
He will always have a spot in my heart. But Emmett Otter is one of the most heartwarming characters of all time.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I believe maybe the only representative of Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas on this entire list. So, he's sort of a representative as well.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Delbert the Latroy Dragon versus Beauregard. Now, intellectually, I think I am not letting my biases cloud my judgment.
This is a completely subjective bracket.
I think Beauregard is more popular.
That's not the choice here, Sam.
But
Kermit would win this if we were picking most popular.
That's true. Delbert shoots fire and he's insane and he burns.
And we have loved every single appearance he's ever done.
And he's so funny. Yes. Can it be Delbert? Is that okay?
Oh, it's 100% Delbert in my eyes.
Okay, great. Angus McGonagall, the gargling gargoyle, versus Hilda. And now Hilda's the one who makes clothes?
Yeah, she's the wrinkly old lady with the sweater and the glasses.
To me, Hilda was one of the main people that I think they should have been in the Muppet Show more. That's an element of the Muppet Show that I liked, like the behind the scenes people being in there and people with specific jobs being back there. I don't love her, but I did think she was worth having around. And she was not voiced by a dude. Right?
A rarity. Yeah. I also think, I love the idea of having more behind the scenes characters interact with the Muppets. It makes it feel more like a show and not everyone's just a performer. And while Angus McGonagall may be in one of the best episodes of the Muppet Show with Mark Hamill, he is exclusively a one-note character. So, congrats, Hilda.
Hilda, the only thing you've ever won in your life.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too comfortable.
Prairie Dawn versus the Flying Zucchini Brothers. Prairie Dawn is Lisa Simpson, proto-Lisa Simpson. Prairie Dawn's honestly one of my favorites.
Yeah, I can't think of a single reason to not vote for Prairie Dawn in this, so I think we have to move Prairie Dawn along to the next round.
Sam the Eagle versus Pops. Pops is a poor substitute for Scooter.
Yeah, Pops never did it for me. Season 5. I was bummed to not have more Scooter in my Muppet Show, and so you, sir, must die.
You must die of old age. You must die of old age. Next, Cotter Pendoozer versus Gorgon Heap.
Do you want to remind the listeners who Gorgon Heap is?
If I could remember who Gorgon Heap was. I would remind people. Oh, Gorgon Heap is the one of the monsters who eats the creature at the end of Glowworm. He's not the original one. He's the later one. Is that right?
I think so, because there's
Big purple
Big
guy with the
V.
long nose and the spikies, but he loses his long nose eventually. He's a big purple monster.
Big purple monster. All he does is eat people. That's kind of his thing.
Yeah, and he's boring. And Cotter Penduzer was one of our favorite Fraggle Rock characters.
Mm-hmm. So goodbye, Gorgon Heap. We will meet Big V soon, who may share your same fate.
In heaven, yes. Alice Snuffleupagus versus Lips. Neither character that I care all that deeply about, I would say.
Would you factor Muppets Mayhem into this, though, when thinking about Lips?
I don't know. I'm not sure. If so, then absolutely it's Lips. If not, then it probably is still Lips. Because, you know.
Yeah, I enjoyed Alice almost killing people as she ran up on them.
Yeah.
And I think we did give her the win in our death bracket because she would easily trample over
right.
Lips. But I think Lips is one of the most hit or miss characters for me. Sometimes I absolutely despise him in a two-headed monster-like way. But other times, I think he had some fun stuff happening in Muppets Mayhem. So I think we give that round to Lips.
Was John Stone wasn't he like, you're fucking adorable about Alice Snuffleupagus?
Yeah, he was. I think he was pretty convinced that Alice was going to be like the next Big Bird. That they were
She's
really
pretty cute.
They were onto something there.
Yeah, that's too bad for her. Next up, we're on the other side of our bracket now. Wimbley Fraggle versus Placido Flamingo.
Not that hard.
Not that hard
battle here. We have one of our favorite Fraggles up against a character we sort of tolerate.
Yeah, we don't know much about him yet. I feel like he is somebody we haven't seen enough of, but doesn't move the needle for me. So I'm going to go with our old pal Wimbley.
Yeah, give it to Wimbley.
Next up, a character who arguably maybe shouldn't be on this bracket, except for that we did do him.
Saw him.
That's true. Pepe the King Prawn versus Boober Fraggle. I feel like you're going to come out hard for Boober. That's my guess.
I am.
And I think I'm just going to go ahead and agree with you because I think Pepe is a Rizzo. He's Rizzo. He's another Rizzo. Do you need another Rizzo?
I think he has been substituted in for Rizzo in more modern things because Rizzo is not available. And I do think he's a poor substitute for Rizzo when you compare.
Especially when he's not with Rizzo. It was funnest when it was Rizzo, Pepe, and Gonzo.
Yes,
I think
the ABC series, I think, uses Pepe extremely well. I will say that if I'm only focusing on the ABC series of Pepe, I would probably lean more towards Pepe than Boober. But Pepe has done a lot of reprehensible things in his life that we have not yet watched, but we will watch.
That's true. We're going to learn to hate Pepe is basically what you're saying.
That's what I'm afraid of. And I know people are probably, I think one person's prediction actually put Pepe as the winner of this entire bracket.
Oh,
so sorry we just blew up your entire prediction.
I don't know what you were thinking. Next up, Camilla versus Harry the Hipster. I don't know, actually.
This is an interesting one, I think.
Camilla, whenever I see her, I'm just like, man, okay. Harry the Hipster, whenever I see him, I'm like, whoa, Harry's back. So in that respect, I think I'd vote Harry.
See, and I think I'd lean towards Camilla, one, because I think she carries herself well with very little material. As a character,
that's a great point.
She's very tough. She's one of the few female Muppets.
That's a good point.
I don't know. She just is somehow very interesting by doing very little.
Okay, you convinced me. I can go with Camilla. She does do a lot with a little, is right. Behemoth versus Skeeter, and Behemoth is who?
He's the big orange chicken nugget looking guy.
I mean, I guess it's gotta be Skeeter, even though I don't really like Skeeter that much. I still think it's gotta be her, right?
Yeah, I don't think Behemoth has anything going on.
Yeah. Big Bird versus Cantus the Minstrel.
Would you like to have an argument for Cantus? Because I don't think he's going to make it to the next round, but I think he's worth talking about.
I think against any other matchup, almost. Not any other, but I think he just had extraordinarily bad luck here. I think Cantus is a very, I like the way he looks. I wish the other Fraggles looked more like Cantus,
A little
because he looks
fuzzy.
more like the Frith design.
Mm.
I think when he shows up, it is a very special episode when he shows up, and you can feel it. He brings a lot to, but Big Bird is fucking Big Bird.
It's fucking Big
Big
Bird.
Bird. Yeah. Okay, next up, Dr. Julia Strangepork versus Gaffer. Who gives a shit? Dr. Strangepork is so not anything that I don't think his name is probably actually even Dr. Strangepork, because he's just an actor on a show.
Right.
And it's even weird that Link's name is Link in Pigs in Space because he is like Tony Danza, and he gets to be named his name for the character.
Okay.
But Dr. Strangepork couldn't possibly be a doctor. He's just some actor guy.
The comparison that no one has ever made before of Link Hogthrob is the Tony Danza of Pigs in Space.
It's apt, though, I'd say.
But is Gaffer anything other than a cat that sits on a shelf?
I don't know, but when I got the Gaffer accessory with Pops in my Pops action figure, I was pretty excited to have Gaffer.
Probably more so than Pops.
Yeah, definitely. And it's fun to see her back there hanging out in the background, don't you think? And she's a cat with an eye patch. That kind of kicks ass.
For some reason, that just worked on me, and I want to give it to Gaffer.
The cat with the eye patch thing?
Yeah, I think it's just it's one of those Muppet ideas where you go, okay, guys, sure, why not a cat with an eye patch?
Like Jim walked by, he was like, nice cat, but it would make it even better. Ding.
I also I think we noted a couple times in the Muppet Show where Gaffer was just sitting on a shelf in the background and looked convincingly like a real cat a few times.
Yeah.
And I just remember enjoying those puppetry moments.
Yeah, it's fun to have little guys hanging out in the background.
Go Gaffer, go.
Next up, Wilkins versus Oscar the Grouch. An unfortunate matchup, I think, because Wilkins
I think so too.
Wilkins could have done some damage at other places, but I think we got to just go Oscar, right?
I think we have to go Oscar. Unfortunately, Wilkins, obviously one of the early Muppets who paved the way, but Oscar the Grouch is fucking Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, that's right. Next up, Wontkins versus Molly.
Wow. It says the opposite of the last bracket where Wilkins was burned by his matchup. Right. Wontkins is very generous here for Wontkins to be paired against Molly, who has little to no cultural impact.
So it's Wontkins, right?
It's Wontkins. I think, everyone loves those commercials. And if Wilkins can't make it, Wontkins will continue on in his honor.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, speaking of little to no cultural impact,
oh, God.
Wanda versus Big V.
Oh, Sam, if I had to vote maybe one matchup of this entire matchup that I could not have possibly cared less about, I think it's this one.
I think Big V has to win it because I think we have to default to cultural impact. And I think the fact that he is an early Muppet monster, he's in Glowworm, he's eating Kermit, he's Kermit's co-star.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda's pretty funny when she gets fired and then comes back later. That's a good moment.
But I think Wanda's a Muppet that not that I think about either of these characters that often. I think Big V would pop in my head first, maybe, if I was listing, trying to remember every Muppet we've seen, just off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. Big V in the Glowworm sketch might pop into my head earlier than Wayne and Wanda, so I think he is a bit more sticky than Wanda.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going with Big V.
Big V.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Next up, the Country Trio versus Emily Bear. You didn't split them up into 3 different guys, I notice.
Well, then it should be Jim, Frank, and Jerry get to be on this list.
That's true.
And I don't think they even have character names individually, so that's why I include them as a trio here.
Okay. So, Emily Bear, though, she's just Fozzie in a wig.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Muppet Family Christmas is a lot of fun because of her.
Yeah, that's true.
Country Trio, though, pretty good.
Just pretty good, though. Just pretty good. They're just those 3 guys. That's not very creative.
And maybe here's a question. Have we seen everything the Country Trio, would have to offer?
I would guess so.
Right. As far as depth of character, could they keep going, be more interesting? Would they overstay their welcome faster than Emily Bear, who, I feel like they could bring back in something now.
Yeah. If the
And we
Country
would still
Trio
like.
showed up again, I might roll my eyes.
I mean,
If
it's
Emily
especially
Bear
hard
showed
to
up
do
again, I think I'd be
now
delighted.
without Jim and Jerry around
Any
to
of those
play
guys.
them.
Yeah, or I guess
So,
Frank, but he wouldn't come back and play him.
But
so Emily Bear.
I guess Emily Bear takes it.
Nigel versus Zoot.
Nigel, the original Muppet Show Sex and Violence host, then shoved off to the orchestra pit to be the conductor of the Muppet Show Orchestra. We know he can whistle, and end of list of things about Nigel.
Yeah.
Versus
and
Zoot,
who's just a better version of Lips, right?
You know what? I'll give that to you. I agree. And I think Zoot has to take this round.
Yeah.
I do enjoy Nigel, but Zoot is Zoot.
Here's the battle of warm colors. Red Fraggle versus Zelda Rose.
Red Fraggle, congratulations.
Yeah, Red Fraggle rules. One of my favorite. One of my wives in Fraggle Rock. Kuzbanians versus Splurge. I think we liked having Splurge around when we were watching.
Yes, and you didn't like the Kuzbanians.
I don't care for them.
Yeah, I enjoyed them. You did not. We both love Splurge. I think Splurge has to defeat all the Kuzbanians.
Yeah, I think so. I think he could go to that planet and eat them all. Next one. Not a hard one, I would say, but two freaks. Marvin Suggs versus Gladys from the Muppet Show. This is the lunch lady Gladys with the big
lunch lady
mouth.
Gladys, big scary face, Gladys necklace. Two people who I believe in our death match bracket, I said there's a chance maybe they run off
instead of
well,
yeah.
I said fall in love maybe, but
oh, I don't know if you did, but okay, I believe you. But I think Marvin Suggs, we've laughed so hard at his antics.
I think Marvin Suggs, well, I don't necessarily love Marvin Suggs. I do think he is a better character. And when he popped up as the judge in the Alice in Wonderland episode with Brooke Shields, that was a great use of him outside of his normal Muppaphoning.
That's right.
So Marvin Suggs takes this round.
Next up, New Zealand versus JP Gross. I hate to say it, but New Zealand has to be it.
Yeah, JP Gross is almost nothing. If anything, he's terrible. And New Zealand, you survived this one, but don't get comfortable.
Yep. Next up, Rizzo versus Timmy Monster. Timmy Monster's awful.
Timmy Monster is the worst of the giant, full body Muppets, I think, in general.
They phoned his ass in for sure.
Yeah, he does very little that's interesting through the years. I think he had one or two moments in the Muppet Show, but it's Rizzo. I think if Rizzo doesn't make it pretty far on this list, I will be shocked.
Come on. Next, Louis Kazagger versus Floyd Pepper. What is Louis Kazagger? Like a friggin' sweet potato or something? I hate looking at that guy.
He's got a Mildredy kind of face, right? He's a little bit of a bird.
He's like a mole vegetable. But Floyd is Floyd, and Floyd is great, and we like Floyd, right?
There's a lot of those pointy-nosed Muppets early on. You had the Mildred, the Droops. Maybe that was just a pattern. They were like,
I think Jim drew a lot of pointy-nosed guys. Doesn't that sound right?
Yeah, there's the early the Wheel Stealer blah blah blahs. The thing Cookie Monster was in, where his early commercials that I don't even think ended up airing, where he was the Wheel Stealer from the Wheels, Flutes, and Crowns.
Yeah.
The middle guy in that, who was the Flute Snatcher, early pointy nose Muppet for Jim.
Yeah, that was one of Jim's go-tos.
Yeah, but Floyd Pepper obviously defeats Louis Kazagger.
Next, Scred and Quango. Scred, who's best friends with Lily Tomlin. Scred, who almost single-handedly salvaged the Muppets on Saturday Night Live, I would say. He got to be his own little guy. He could have stuck around. Scred,
who I was just, I didn't believe that the Gorch Muppets would actually show up on the SNL 50th, but there was like a part of my heart that was hoping that somehow we would get Plubis and Scred popping up, because I think Bill Barretta could use his Rolf voice to bring back King Plubis, and Matt Vogel could use his crazy Harry voice to bring back Scred.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I don't know that will ever happen, but I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Next, Sweetums versus Uncle Deadly.
Ooh, boy.
This is
a tough one.
I don't really like Sweetums that much.
All right. Well, maybe it's not as hard of one as I thought.
I like the way he looks.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's almost a giant baby.
Obviously, from the Ultimate Decision, we don't have to do this, but if I exclude the ABC Muppet series,
Yeah.
this has to go to Sweetums.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, that doesn't make sense to actually exclude from this decision, but I just wanted to think about the rest of each of their work, and what they've contributed to the Muppets. I do think, I don't know, they're both physically very cool Muppets.
Yep. That makes it a little harder, maybe, because they are kind of almost similar. Like they come from the same world.
Yeah, like the straight up monsters of the Muppet world.
Yeah.
I could see them being a duo in something, but because in large part due to the ABC Muppet series, and also just I'm going to say solely probably because of the ABC Muppet series, they've added so much interesting stuff to Uncle Deadly that
Right.
Sweetums just hasn't really gotten through the years.
Yeah.
And there's only so much to root for with a big dumb guy.
Yeah, he's one note, isn't he? I think this is going to be a controversial decision, but I think we
think
should
so
go with
too.
Uncle Deadly.
I think this one feels like one that people will be split on, especially because a lot of people don't like the ABC series as much as we do.
The next one, I'm just going to go ahead and say Ernie.
Yeah.
And not Foo-Foo the dog.
Yeah, it's Ernie against Miss Piggy's dog, Foo-Foo, who, the tricks of switching out Foo-Foo the real dog for Foo-Foo the puppet dog is nice.
Yeah. It's funny when they have there's an article about that, and they were like, so like, this is great. This is what we're doing. Or like when Jim talked about how cool JP Gross was going to be, and then it's just like 25 milliseconds of the show.
Yeah. But sorry, Foo-Foo. I don't honestly know if you would have won any round. Maybe if you were up against Brewster, you could have made it to the second round.
I think that's right. Yeah.
That's maybe one of the few Muppets you could have defeated, Foo-Foo.
Right. Next one's maybe hypothetically difficult, but I think actually a bad seeding for one of these guys.
Yeah, it is a very unfortunate seeding, because I do think these two are strong contenders. They could hold their own against a lot of other Muppets on this list.
Yeah.
But when paired against each other, I worry about how easy this is going to be.
So it's Bert versus Miss Piggy.
We got Frank versus Frank.
And in my heart of hearts, it's got to be Miss Piggy. She was an international celebrity.
Yeah, I can't believe Bert is out in round one, but I have to agree with you. And
Bert's nothing without Ernie.
I might disagree there, because I think there are a number of great Bert songs, and I do enjoy when Bert is left alone in the apartment and has to deal with life without Ernie, and either finds another way to be annoyed or realizes he actually misses Ernie.
Sure.
So there is some character depth to Bert that I really, really enjoy. He is one of my favorite Muppets, and in any other matchup, he would probably go very far. But when against Miss Piggy, it's really, really hard to defeat her.
That's right. That's right. I think it has to be that way. I'm so sorry to Bert. Next up, Baskerville versus Mr. Snuffleupagus. Mr. Snuffleupagus, a character I run hot and cold on. But Baskerville,
he's kind of a big baby.
Yeah, his voice there's something about him I'm not totally sold on.
He also, for a long time, was the annoyingly coincidental, not where he's supposed to be.
That was frustrating.
And yeah, so it got really frustrating over the 10 years they did that, where they're like, oh, he just walked away.
He's like a big baby and an old man at the same time.
Ooh, that's a bad combo.
But Baskerville's just a dog with glasses on.
But
is that enough?
He's good in the Purina commercials. And remember the Sherlock sketch?
Yeah, he was pretty good in that too.
Pretty good in that.
But we don't dare give it to Baskerville, do we?
I say no, but I want it to be known that I have a soft spot for Baskerville, and I wish he could be up against somebody else. But Mr. Snuffleupagus is just too important.
All the best. Next, The Beautiful Day Monster versus Forgetful Jones. Beautiful Day Monster, another monster character that barely qualifies as a character.
You might have to convince me on this one. I think my gut said Beautiful Day Monster.
Why? You have to convince me. What's so good about him?
I think one, visually, he's very interesting.
Yeah.
I think there's the funny sketch where he got his name, where he shrinks as the little.
Are we
girl.
counting his shrinking gimmick as part of him? Is that all?
I mean,
included?
that's what he does. Forgetful Jones has one gimmick that he does every time.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Beautiful Day Monster, has changed looks throughout the years. So, based physically, I'd say I have preferences as far as which Beautiful Day Monster I prefer.
Mm-hmm.
The more modern version, not my favorite. There's like a middle ground one that I like more. But I don't know. There's something about that big dumb blue sack of a puppet that I just really like for some reason.
I just really love Forgetful Jones, Matt. I don't know what to do about this. I think he's better than Beautiful Day Monster.
And it does give us more Richard Hunt characters. So, he does have a personality, whereas Beautiful Day Monster doesn't. So, you know what?
Yeah, that feels like a pretty big one. He's
I was going to say, I will let Forgetful Day Monster. Whoa, that's their
we could
beautiful
combine them.
Muppet. No, I will let Forgetful Jones win this round because I don't think he makes it past the next round anyways.
Thanks, Matt. Oh yeah, probably not, because it's Cookie Monster versus Guy Smiley.
Yeah, the next matchup is heartbreaking for me.
You gotta hand it to Guy Smiley. He rules, but this is another one where the Sesame Street
fucking Cookie Monster.
The core Sesame Street guys are pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, all timers. Cookie Monster. Obviously, not only are we saying that he is important, he's a big part of Sesame Street and the culture in general, but we have loved pretty much every Cookie Monster thing we have ever watched.
Yeah, I agree. And continue to. He's consistently still good too.
Yeah. Not to say anything bad about Guy Smiley. We do also love a Crazy Jim character, but much like Convincing John, they have to lose sometime.
All right, Scooter versus Telly Monster. This one's a little tricky for me.
I do like them both. Yeah. I feel like I like Scooter more than I should, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you. I like adult puppet Scooter more than I should. I think he's had. I do love that he's an underhanded little creep.
Yeah, and I do love his weird like stepdad storyline in the Muppets ABC series where he's constantly just mad about Ken, his mom's boyfriend or stepdad, whatever it is. But Telly Monster is, I think, one of the most deep like Sesame Street characters who is somehow supposed to be 5 years old.
Yeah, but is obviously 35 years old.
At least.
Said before. But it is pretty good when he likes Oscar so much that he annoys him. But that's nothing compared to Scooter. Scooter's met all the most famous people in the world.
Yeah, I give it to Scooter.
Bruno the Trash Man versus Gladys the Cow. Gladys the Cow has been a breakout character for me.
Yeah, I'm bummed about this one too, because I think Gladys the Cow is a great character. Bruno the Trash Man is a great puppet.
He's set decoration. Yeah.
Yes. Especially, because Oscar is really what makes Bruno interesting.
Yeah.
Without Oscar, Bruno is nothing. He is a mutation at best. But the idea of Carol Spinney, roller skating as a man holding a monster in a trash can, just still sort of blows my mind.
It really distills Carol's whole thing into a perfect image. Maybe slightly more perfect would be Big Bird jumping from one truck to another truck, but Bruno's pretty close too. Yeah,
if this was best puppet, I would argue more for Bruno, but it's not. It's best Muppet. Nah.
Okay, Kermit versus the Swedish Chef. I've had my fill of the Swedish Chef. I couldn't possibly. Okay. I don't like that.
I honestly wasn't sure where that sentence was gonna go. I felt like you could have said Kermit, and I wouldn't have been entirely shocked.
When I see Kermit, I still smile. Don't you?
Yeah. No, he's Kermit, Swedish Chef, again, great T-shirt Muppet. I think would, again, in any other matchup, make it a lot further on this list because while we might have had our fill of him, he is, does have a lot of cultural impact and is funny.
He's funny.
He's funny. I think we just recently watched him.
He's been funny.
Be a Swedish Chef to a Swedish Chef's face.
Left
and I think
a bad
we sort of
taste in my mouth.
I think we sort of felt offended on behalf of the Swedish chef, the real living human man one.
He looked mad.
Yeah. So Kermit takes it.
Next up, Fletcher Bird versus Afghan Hound. 2 animal name, thing name guys. Afghan Hound. This is maybe I don't really care. What do you
Well,
think?
you used to have the hots for Afghan Hound.
Afghan Hound's hot. I can't just keep going to that. I think she's sexy, though, you know? And Fletcher Bird, you like him. He has socks on. It's fun. You like Fletcher Bird, right?
I like Fletcher Bird partially because of the design, the use of Fletcher Bird, and also there's just wild behind the scenes pictures of like the Fletcher Bird costume being built and put on that make me appreciate that weird ass puppet even more.
You gave me Forgetful Jones. I'm willing to give you Fletcher Bird if that is what
I will take Fletcher Bird, who has to face off against Kermit in the next round.
Yeah, that's true. All right, next up, Annie Sue versus the Newsman.
Oh boy.
I don't love the Newsman, but he's got more of a reason to exist than Annie Sue does.
Yeah, Newsman has been brought back time and time again in other Muppet projects for a good reason. I think he serves a purpose, whereas Annie Sue was really just a rival to Miss Piggy and not even that good of one.
Underbaked, yeah.
So, sorry, Annie Sue. Newsman wins it.
And then next one.
Oh, no, Sam.
Pa Gorg versus Mew, the cat toy from A Christmas Toy.
Which, to the untrained ear, might sound like an obvious choice here. But if you didn't listen to our Christmas Toy episode,
we really fell for the little guy.
We love Mew so much.
He died and was reborn to atone for our sins.
Yeah, Mew is our puppet Jesus, is what Sam is saying.
Pa is he's the least good Gorg, I think. He's tied maybe with Ma, but you know, he's one note big time. Mew is such a tortured individual that I really want to go with Mew, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
I honestly think Mew takes it because I think Pa Gorg is interesting at times, but Mew, I think, surprised us so much. One, the Christmas Toy surprised us because we didn't have high expectations of it, but then to meet a really interesting character that stuck with us after watching the Christmas Toy was just, you know, I think it's worth moving him to the next round.
Yeah, and I got more emotion out of them saying "ew, it's Mew" than I did, or "pu, it's Mew" or whatever, than I did out of anything Pa Gorg ever did. Next one, weird one, pointy ear guy versus pointy ear guy, and a bit of a surprise, Count Von Count versus Yoda. Yoda's a Muppet. You heard it here for the millionth time.
I know some people skip around on our podcast and don't listen to every episode. Totally fair. And I think some people specifically skip non-Muppet things that we watch, like our birthday episodes or special one-offs like Empire Strikes Back. So you may not understand why Yoda is even on this list, but that's because in that episode, Sam was insistent that he was a Muppet. And so I gave him a Muppet of the Week segment where we talked about his connections to Jim Henson and Frank Oz. We've had a lot of fun with Yoda. I cut together the clips of what if Yoda was voiced by Jim Henson.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Yoda is great, obviously. We did disqualify him from our death battle.
Because he's the only one of these people who's actually killed someone. Pa maybe has also killed someone, but...
Yeah, I'd say there's probably some other murderers
Yoda
on this
on
list,
screen.
But
yeah.
If you give Yoda his lightsaber and the Force, he would defeat every other Muppet on this list.
Yeah,
but I think in this, of which one's a better Muppet, I can't imagine we give it to Yoda.
Oh, you don't think Yoda's better than Count Von Count?
I don't think Yoda's a Muppet.
Oh, okay. That's fair enough.
By default, he cannot win a Muppet bracket. Well,
fine, Matt. I'll put Count Von Count. We've had a lot of fun with Count too over the years. We love that guy.
I feel like you're a big Count fan just because you like vampires.
Finally, somebody who I am a big fan of, Grover. Oof, Grover, baby. Versus Bobby Benson's baby band. A bunch of fucked up little stupid babies.
Yeah.
And it goes to Grover.
It goes to Grover. Of course it goes to Grover. Those little babies are the most obnoxious Muppets. maybe ever.
We've seen them do some really fucking annoying things for way too long.
And that does it for round 1. Obviously the longest round. That's the way it works. But now it's going to get a lot harder, folks. We have some extremely hard decisions to make.
So the first one is Marjorie the Trash Heap versus Rolf. Maybe not the hardest decision we have to make. I don't see how it's not Rolf because he is the Muppet. He is the Muppet. He's the first famous Muppet.
Yeah, I think Rolf has to take it, but I do want to honor Marjorie Trash Heap in this moment because she is a great character. I never saw her making it very far in this bracket, regardless of who she was up against. But as far as design of a puppet goes, maybe a questionable voice choice.
Sure,
but
we got some good laughs out of her, though, didn't we?
Yeah, and she introduced some of the most wild moments to Fraggle Rock when suddenly she could see into people's brains and make things happen with her mind.
I think Yoda would maybe have a hardest time against Marjorie the Trash Heap.
He'd be very confused of like, wait a minute, what is happening to me?
Yeah,
this pile of trash has control over my brain.
Yeah, he might not. Yeah, he might not be able to kill her. Who knows?
But as far as good Muppets go, clearly Rolf defeats Marjorie the Trash Heap.
Next up, Fozzie Bear versus Gobo Fraggle. Now, I said Fozzie Bear was one of the best fictional characters of all time, and Gobo Fraggle is the Fraggle we dislike the most of all the Fraggles, I would say.
That's probably true. He's the most frustrating and default of the Fraggles. So
you don't like Red, but
yeah, I don't love Red, but I think Gobo is just an asshole sometimes, especially in the first season. So I feel like in these two, if we're talking about who's the better friend, who's the better character, who's got the bigger cultural impact, I think you got to give it to Fozzie Bear.
Oh, it's going to be so sad when Rolf and Fozzie have to fight. Okay, next up, Moki Fraggle versus Sneagle. I think Sneagle had enough fun. He's had a good run. Sneagle's less lucky to be here, don't you think?
Return to hell, Sneagle. Moki Fraggle takes it.
Next, Roosevelt Franklin versus Junior Gorg.
I think my heart says Junior Gorg.
I think mine does too.
Okay. I think we might just have to ride vibes on this one.
I think we went on a real journey with Junior.
Yeah.
And Roosevelt's good.
Yeah, I think Roosevelt was unfortunately, not given a lot of time.
Yeah.
In the history of Sesame Street, but obviously a very important character. Theme song still slaps. But I think overall, Junior Gorg definitely.
He's the king of the universe at this point. Junior is. You got to respect the king.
Animal versus hairy monster. Not in a physical confrontation.
No.
But rather which one is our favorite.
Better. Now, Animal's a t-shirt Muppet. Do we ding him for that?
I wouldn't, because no one's ever had a hairy t-shirt. And so that's not a fair fight.
Yeah, that's true.
But I can't see a world in which Hairy Monster is deemed better than Animal in any criteria.
Nor can I. That's right.
Now we have a dog fight.
Yep. This is what we had in our death match too. The dogs were fighting. I think Barkley killed Sprocket though.
He's bigger.
But I believe in this matchup, we said so much nice stuff about Sprocket.
Yeah, I think if you had asked pre-watching all of Fraggle Rock, Matthew Gatos, I think he would pull hard for Barkley in this because, again, I've always loved Barkley as a character design. But after watching all of Fraggle Rock, Sprocket is a top-notch Muppet.
You were young and foolish then. Yeah.
I was naive.
Yeah.
I couldn't appreciate how great Sprocket truly was.
Now, this next one, I'll be mad at you
if
you're waffling on this one. Elmo versus Thog.
No waffle here. Elmo is Elmo.
Elmo is Elmo. Elmo is. He will be forever. Except today they announced that they laid off 200 people at Sesame Workshop. So
yeah, so maybe Elmo isn't forever Elmo, unfortunately.
Yeah. He'll make it through. Hairy Monster, he's not going to make it out the other side, but Elmo will.
Yeah, I don't know how frequently used Hairy Monster even is these days. Yeah. I know, like, Peter Linz performs him, but I don't know if they are using him regularly.
Okay, next up, Tamanilla Grinderfall versus Mean Mama. We hate Mean Mama. We said it.
And we love Tamanella Grindelwald.
Tamanella Grindelwald. So that's the winner. Gonzo versus Bunsen Honeydew.
The battles of the Dave Goldses.
Yeah. And we did kind of say we hated Bunsen and we're going to get sick of him.
Well, you definitely said you hated him. I think I hate him less, but I don't hate Gonzo at all. So
nobody can hate
one of these
Gonzo.
characters can make me cry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, yes, that's a good judging thing. Robin's
which I think is going to work again in the next round, in the next matchup here, because we have Robin versus Uncle Traveling Matt, a character who makes me angry, versus a character who definitely wants to make me cry by singing a sweet song on the staircase.
Oh, or being Tiny Tim. Remember when he was Tiny Tim?
He dies.
He does not
temporarily.
Die. He gets better.
Yes. But it is Uncle Traveling Matt, one of our most frustrating Muppets of all time.
And God, we had to watch so much of him that time a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, man. It's not your fault. It's the universe's fault.
It pretty much was exclusively my fault that I found those and made you watch all of them.
Well, we had to know what we were getting into for this exact thing.
That's very true. Yeah. We had to have, we do our research here on Commitment.
That's right.
We watch literally everything there is to watch to better understand the Muppets, purely so we can face them against each other in a who is the best competition.
The next match, the Worm from Labyrinth or Beaker. I mean, feel bad for the Worm from Labyrinth, but
yeah, I was gonna say, did you have any argument for Worm from Labyrinth?
Not a bit. Dr. Teeth versus George the Janitor. Again, George, you had your fun. Time to go.
I feel like maybe this won't be the case as we get further along because we have some soft spots for some Muppets that maybe aren't as popular. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like we're starting to whittle down to the Muppets.
The Muppets is right. Like literally, it's all of the people we've picked except for Tamanilla. Well, there's a few.
Right. Yeah.
Most everybody is through just the Muppets though.
Right. You picture the Muppets that you need to fit 12 of them on a poster. We're getting down to those 12, it feels
It's going to be such a crock of shit if Kermit the Frog wins this.
Well, no spoilers because we don't know yet, but we'll see.
All right. Bean Bunny versus Emmett Otter. Two little fuzzy cute guys. But Bean... Well, I actually don't know. Maybe Bean became too much the butt of a joke. Maybe he's overplayed.
Yeah, it feels like we haven't seen enough Bean... because we haven't seen Jim Henson Hour to know how he is used later on. But we also only have one reference point for Emmett Otter, so it's difficult, even though he is great. I
would love for the Jug Band Christmas coalition to continue on further into this, personally.
I do think, if we're going back to Muppets That Make Me Cry, Emmett's definitely got my heartstrings more than Bean does.
Yep. Bean's a joke. Do we go with Emmett?
I give it to Emmett.
Oh, okay. Okay, next up, Delbert the LaChoy Dragon versus Hilda.
Sorry, Hilda. I can't see you going forward in this round.
You've been burninated, Hilda. All right, Prairie Dawn versus Sam the Eagle. This one's a bit tricky.
This is tricky.
I'm Prairie Dawn all the way because I think she is I think there's something special about Prairie Dawn.
I think Prairie Dawn is an underrated Muppet.
Yeah.
I am trying not to let that, Muppet poster idea sway me too much because Sam the Eagle is one of the Muppets. Like he is. But I think Prairie Dawn deserves more recognition for what she has done.
They're both kind of similar characters, aren't they? They're both trying to wrangle their weirdos, except Sam is also a weirdo and Prairie isn't.
Well, and Sam ends up having no true power, whereas Prairie can get shit done.
That's right.
So I think we go with Prairie.
I would love to go with Prairie.
Let's go with Prairie.
Sam the Eagle to me, slightly overrated. I'm just going to say it.
I don't disagree, but I think we have learned so much about Sam the Eagle on this show. Of his weird ass backstory with his kids and his ex-wife. That I do feel for him a little bit more. And he has a pretty good, in my opinion, run of episodes in the ABC Muppet series. Specifically, I enjoy the episode where he falls in love with Janice.
Yeah, I need to watch. I haven't seen that in a long time, but you do mention it a lot.
I enjoy that show so much. It's a safe little rewatch show that I always feel good revisiting.
How many times have you watched it?
I'm gonna say completely through 3 or 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not as a disturbingly high a number as I was
No.
expecting you to say.
But it is like, I think there's sometimes I've gone back to specific episodes where I'm like, you know what, I want to watch that Key and Peele scene again from the Muppets, so I will throw on that episode specifically.
Okay, next up, Cotterpin Doozer versus Lips. We just barely gave it to Lips.
Yeah,
and
I think we have to give it to Cotterpin, who we do love.
Yeah,
so
we have a lot of fun with Cotterpin.
Ooh, next round's gonna be challenging there, but for now,
Wimbley Fraggle versus Boober Fraggle. Speaking of challenging,
yeah,
I don't know.
I hate having to choose. I will just say my heart leans Wembley.
Yeah,
which
I agree.
I think is solely based on they tend to give Wembley the most like interesting introspective kind of episodes where he has to question who he is, how he lives his life. Whereas Boober is usually, still has interesting episodes, but doesn't necessarily change a ton because of the actions that affect him.
Yeah, I agree.
Although side bottom rules.
Side bottom rules, but I feel like Boober kind of fell off towards the end of the series.
I remember the last season we were kind of wondering what the hell was going on because Boober just kind of wasn't around a lot.
Yeah, they ran out of stuff to do with Boober, but they never run out of stuff to do with Wembley.
No, and Wembley again, going back to the Fozzie side of things, like a fantastic character, a fantastic friend, always a good sidekick to toss into situations.
That's in retrospect not such a hard decision, is it?
No, but I think that will be where some people's brackets just broke.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Because
Boober is beloved by us and a lot of other people.
That's true.
So that is a tough decision.
Yeah. Camilla versus Skeeter. I don't want a Muppet Baby to go any farther, but that's just me.
I think that's the unfortunate truth of Skeeter is that she is exclusively a Muppet Baby and then in a few comic books. But Camilla has lasted 50 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Not quite.
And Skeeter just doesn't. Skeeter sucks. She's not fun. Maybe she'll get fun later, but
she's mostly a cop or kind of the buzzkill. So we can't let her go any further.
Fights with Piggy in kind of a weird sexist situation. Yeah. Next up, Big Bird versus Gaffer. He's Big Bird. He is Big Bird.
Yes, I think while Gaffer is a cool cat with an eye patch, I cannot in any world let Gaffer beat Big Bird on the Best Muppet bracket.
No. Oscar the Grouch versus Wontkins.
Two, rightfully cranky.
They maybe would be friends.
Yes. They would not like to battle each other in any way, I think. Yeah. But Wontkins, he's the worst part of that duo.
Yeah.
So he's lucky to have made it this far.
At a time when there were only 2 Muppets in existence, he was the worst one. So yeah.
At one point in the timeline, he was the worst Muppet.
Big V versus Emily Bear.
Congrats, Emily Bear.
Big V is, so yeah, I think it's gotta be Emily. Zoot versus Red Fraggle. Now, you know me. Mm-hmm. I'm a big Red Fraggle fan. She might have been my favorite one by the end. But I think a lot of people are a big Zoot fan, huh?
Probably I was wondering if there was a butt coming. This might be controversial. I don't think I like Zoot.
Yeah. I think I agree. He's not the best Electric Mayhem character. That's for
no. I think you could lose both Zoot and Lips, and I would be fine.
Yeah, I don't know why they made a second Zoot. They were like, "This will fix the band." Another of the worst guy.
And as much as Red Fraggle isn't my favorite Fraggle, she is much more interesting than Zoot.
Yeah, she's fun.
With Zoot, you know what's gonna happen. Every time he's on screen, you're like, I bet he's confused and stoned.
Yeah, and he'll go, right.
Where are we, man?
Next, Splurge versus Marvin Suggs. Not the most compelling. Like, Marvin Suggs is gonna win, but also Marvin Suggs is another guy who's lucky to be here, right?
Yeah, because I think this is an interesting matchup where I have to actually not listen to my heart.
Your heart says Splurge.
Splurge is one of those puppets and Muppets that I just liked a lot when we saw him, and I think is interesting looking, and isn't a Muppet that's really made anymore. So I kind of just have a soft spot for those old monsters.
Yeah.
But I think for many other reasons, it makes sense that Marvin Suggs would continue on.
I feel like there was one episode with Marvin Suggs in it of the Muppet Show that we thought was so hilarious, but I cannot remember why. Do you remember that?
I think you're
There's
right.
something he said that we were like, wow, that's beautiful. But I don't remember.
We also wrote some great fan fiction about the life of Marvin Suggs that I cannot
maybe
ignore.
I'm even just confusing what we made up about him for real stuff.
My favorite thing is if you go look at some of the original like Marvin Suggs drawings on Muppet Wiki, he is far less interesting looking than he turned out to be.
He's got a big pointy face. Oh, it's Mildred.
That's Mildred on the same piece of paper. I thought the same thing at first.
Yeah, they made him a lot scarier than he was drawn as, huh?
Yeah, those eyes do a lot of the work where they're sort of like tilted in, but also looking up a little bit. So I think he has this unhinged quality to him that makes him immediately more interesting than a lot of other characters.
Yep. And disturbing.
Which, we're not against.
Next up, New Zealand versus Rizzo. Lou, we don't like you that much, Lou.
Yeah, we
like Rizzo.
You were lucky to fight like JP Gross in the first round, but neither of us liked New Zealand.
Yeah, and every day I say a prayer that Rizzo will return to us.
Yeah, if we could trade, actually, one Rizzo for one New Zealand, I would happily make that trade.
This next one maybe is a little trickier. Floyd Pepper versus Scred.
Yeah. Floyd Pepper obviously has a lot going on. He's been around a lot longer. But, is he a good, fun character? Before Muppets Mayhem, I maybe wouldn't have said yes. But he has, a great storyline in Muppets Mayhem, where we see him and Teeth bond at a young age. We see him as a father figure to Animal.
Yep.
And while I do love Scred, I think Floyd Pepper would have to get my vote here.
Oh. That was not going the direction I thought it was going to go.
You want to argue for Scred?
I think they wrung a lot out of Scred coming to terms with the fact that he was an unpopular part of a popular show that was going to go on without him.
Right.
I think he made me feel stuff as he was creeping around trying desperately to stay on this show. And Floyd has never done much for me.
I will agree with you there. That Floyd in general doesn't do much for me.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give this to Scred, honestly. I think as far as if it's our favorite characters, I think Scred is higher on that list for both of us.
We waxed philosophic about Scred, never about Floyd. Right?
I think so. I think we give it to Scred.
Okay. Scred, congrats. Uncle Deadly versus Ernie.
Ooh, rough one, I think. Or at least a heartbreaking one, if anything.
Yeah, because I do think it's Ernie, probably.
I do think it's Ernie. I think, while Uncle Deadly is great, especially in his modern form, Ernie has consistently been great forever. So I can't imagine we don't give this to Ernie. Uncle Deadly, not really much of a character for the most of his existence.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like 10 years ago that he became interesting. Whereas
he had the
Ernie,
disastrous interview with Vincent Price. Remember that?
Oh yeah. I think it's just, I don't know. It's such a bummer that he is good now, but Ernie has been good for almost 60 years. So hard to compete.
Yep. Okay, Miss Piggy versus Mr. Snuffleupagus.
A big old karate chop to that elephant face, I think.
Yeah, this is another one where Miss Piggy's star power is just a lot to contend with.
Yeah.
Forgetful Jones versus Cookie Monster. Another easy one because you just barely let me have Forgetful. So
Correct.
Thank you for that. And I will gladly send him to the trash pile.
Good.
Because Cookie Monster.
I was preparing to have to argue if you, for some reason, wanted to argue for Forgetful Jones, but I'm really glad you didn't.
Similar to Fozzie Bear, Cookie Monster is one of the best fictional characters of all time.
Yeah, we're going to end up with a lot of Frank in the final 8,
that's
I
right.
think.
Scooter versus Gladys from Sesame Street.
Yeah, the cow, Gladys versus
one,
Scooter, the thing.
I just love Gladys so much.
Yeah, I think Gladys is fun, but I think we give it to Scooter just because I think Gladys has kind of a little bit of a one-note thing in a way that a lot of Sesame side characters end up having.
I only want to just say that when Richard gets a real great zinger off, it's with Gladys. Like, he can go off script and just be really funny with Gladys, I think.
Yes. I do think Richard is capable of doing that with almost any of his characters, though.
I mean, I'd almost say Scooter's one of his weaker characters, but
I think he's a little bit more trapped in the body of Scooter, having to be sort of a teen boy who's just excited to be working with the Muppets. But I enjoy Gladys a lot. I don't know that I feel anything about Gladys, if that makes sense.
Okay. I think I do, but I think your evidence is more compelling.
Well, speaking of compelling, our next matchup, Kermit versus Fletcher Bird. Who's going to take it, folks? Tune in next time for part 2 of this special as we live on this cliffhanger.
No, it's got to be Kermit.
No, it's obviously Kermit.
It's got to be Kermit. Newsman versus Mew. Now this one, it's not obviously either.
No, which is, shocking for a round 2 decision. But,
the newsman's more of the newsman is somebody everybody knows who he is when they see him.
Yeah, but
we love Mew so much,
and we didn't really love newsman bits that much.
No, I think they're bad.
Yeah, so I think we give it to Mew.
Yeah, you're right. We give it to Mew. Good job, Mew. You got to have something in your life, Mew.
Don't get too comfortable.
Count Von Count versus Grover.
This is a little tough, but I feel like we're both going to be leaning in the same direction.
We've seen Grover be the funniest Muppet again and again, I think.
I think
if anybody has a chance to beat Rolf, it's Grover. That's my prediction.
I think that's not a bad prediction, but
if it's
we will
down
find
to
out.
Those two, I don't know what I'm going to do, but we're on round 3, so I'm going to find out pretty soon.
We have to do something because, we are in round 3 now. Back, if you're following along, to the top left of the bracket with our first round 3 matchup. Rolf
versus Fuzzy Bear. And who's going to win? I think a normal person would say Fozzie.
We are not normal men. We are
I've built
men
my whole
who
identity around Rolf.
Well, we have consumed hours of Jimmy Dean and Rolf content, which most men have not.
Thank you for bringing me to my senses, Matt.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dean thinks Rolf is real. Nobody thinks Fozzie is real.
I think if we put that up to a popular vote, Fozzie takes it.
Me too.
There's a reason we didn't do this way.
We've seen things nobody else has seen, barely.
We've seen some things, people. Yeah. And you should go watch them too if they haven't already been deleted off of YouTube.
This next one's going to hurt me a bit. Moki Fraggle versus Junior Gorg. Because I will fully admit, Junior Gorg is a better character than Moki.
I thought I was going to have to fight you on this one.
No,
and so
you don't
I'm very happy to hear that we agree that Junior Gorg is better than Moki Fraggle.
I think Moki's another character who kind of fell off at the end of Fraggle Rock.
I think she also, her episodes that were focused exclusively on her were wildly hit or miss for me. And some of my least favorite episodes, I feel like, were Moki-centered episodes where she started a cult or,
but I love
the doll of herself.
That one was not good.
Yeah, so I think there's just enough frustrating qualities to Moki that I can't let her go on.
Yeah, good point. Okay, next up, Animal versus Sprocket. Animal, to me, Animal, meh. I know Sprocket. I don't know Animal.
I'm with you. Okay. I say Sprocket beats Animal.
We've watched that old sweaty old man scream at that dog so many times and gotten so much enjoyment out of it.
Maybe the next bracket we do is humans interacting with Muppets.
Oh yeah.
So we have like a Jimmy Dean versus Doc situation.
Should be the Doc and Jimmy would be the two finalists. I think is got to be it. And Michael Caine, I don't know. They'd all three be in there, but okay. Elmo versus Tamanilla Grindelwald.
Ooh. How do we divorce our personal feelings about Tamanilla from this?
She just didn't. She never became what she could have become.
But whose fault is that?
And she's
society's.
Yeah, I mean
they just weren't ready for a Tamanilla. I think you bring Tamanilla back now.
Maybe people love ready.
Tamanilla.
I would rather watch 1,000 hours of Tamanilla Grindelwald than 1 minute of Elmo.
Do I think people are going to buy a Tickle Me Tamanilla? Maybe
not.
We
don't know.
Just a little ball over her head you could toss around.
I want to be a stinker and give it to Tamanilla. What do you think?
We've used cultural impact as a reason to give it to a lot of Muppets along the way.
Yeah.
But if we are digging in deep and saying our favorite Muppets, I think we have talked too highly about Tamanilla Grindelwald to not give it to her in this round.
This is what it's all about. Tamanilla defeats Elmo.
This is one of those, you better be a devoted listener of Kermitman if you want to get this prediction right in your bracket. Because
that's right.
In no world, I think, do most people put Tamanilla this far in the bracket. And especially they're not picking Tamanilla to beat Elmo.
No sane person would they?
Yeah. So as much as it's all been leading to this for us, it's also all been leading to this for you, the listeners.
Yeah. Do your homework.
You better do your homework and study up on which Muppets we love. Not which Muppets we want to have sex with. That's a different bracket.
That's another one. That's in my private bracket that I have, Next up, Gonzo versus Robin.
I mean, I think we could sit here and talk for a couple minutes.
Gonzo's made us cry. Robin made me cry, but it was more like Kermit making me cry because he was sad about Robin in Muppet Christmas Carol.
Gonzo, well, I also think there's, Robin is built to make you cry. Yeah, he is meant to be sweet and pull at your heartstrings. Yeah. Gonzo making you cry feels like it shouldn't happen, but it can
get all kinds of stuff out of you. That's right.
So Gonzo defeats Robin.
Beaker versus Dr. Teeth. This one is a little hard for me.
I would not disagree because my first instinct, one, I didn't have a first gut instinct as to which one should take it, but my first defense of both of them is that, obviously they have lasted a long time. People recognize them. They know them. Obviously, Beaker wins if we're talking about cultural impact, but they're both characters that I think we have also talked down a little bit in the past. I think Dr. Teeth has won us back a little bit, maybe with some Muppets Mayhem and some other things, but we've definitely talked him down. And I think we've also not loved Beaker's one note thing. We are not fans of t-shirt Muppets most of the time.
But Beaker is a perfect character design.
Dr. Teeth's pretty good too.
I could only go with Dr. Teeth if we are making it okay to think about Muppets Mayhem.
Oh, I think it's totally okay to think about Muppets Mayhem throughout all of this, because I think anything we have watched and discussed on the podcast is fair game. And also, I think just in general, the Muppets as they exist in the world affects our feelings about them. So, if we're picking favorites, again,
he was so charming in Muppets Mayhem.
And I think Beaker falls into the doesn't do much for me camp.
Okay. Interesting.
I will give you the as far as puppet design, I do think Beaker is maybe a more interesting puppet that I think it's a design that's reserved for very few other characters. And they do a lot with that puppet by adding lights to the eyes and steam coming out of his ears and stuff like that. But if we're talking favorite characters who I want to see more of on my TV, Dr. Teeth would win that.
Okay, I think I can agree with that. I think it's fun to see Beaker, but there's something satisfying about seeing Dr. Teeth. I think you're right. Okay. Emmett Otter versus Delbert the LaTroy Dragon. I feel like we've gotten too far with it. I think Emmett Otter got too far at this point because I do think he beats Delbert the LaTroy Dragon.
I agree with you. This is another one of those. If Emmett is representing all of Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas,
Which isn't
sure, I can
fair. I will
say
fully
no.
admit that isn't fair.
No. But I think that was more of a deciding factor in the past when we
Yeah.
were too close on a decision. I
Yeah.
think Delbert, we have talked about multiple times on this podcast as being one of our favorite Muppets.
Yeah. Oh, but you think Delbert should win?
Oh, I thought that's where you were going.
No, I think Emmett should win.
Oh, I think Delbert should win.
I think giving Emmett that pass versus Bean Bunny has put him in too powerful a position now. Because
that's why I thought you were saying he needs to be taken down a peg and removed like Yoda from the list.
In my opinion, he beats Delbert.
Huh. Oh, but okay. So if I present this to you as the two characters themselves, Emmett Otter, the character, versus Delbert the LaChoy dragon, cooked in dragon fire.
Dragon fire.
Almost burning a lady alive in her kitchen.
And stop knocking stuff down with his tail.
Agent of Chaos, Delbert the LaChoy dragon versus sweet mama's boy, Emmett Otter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you think Delbert, no question.
I just like Delbert a lot. I think much
he
in the
looks
way
really
I like
cool, doesn't he?
Tamanella. He's just such a strong choice of a character, both visually and I'm still not, I don't have to win this one. I think Emmett is a very strong contender.
But I'm having a lot of trouble divorcing him from representing the whole thing.
And I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't either.
Because are we going to have, Rolf versus the idea of Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas?
And that could be trouble for us. That's what I'm wondering.
So is there a point at which we divorce Emmett from the movie and look at him more as the individual character?
I think doing that right now, I have to go with Delbert. I'm going to take Emmett by himself and think, you're not much without your mom, are you? And give it to Delbert.
Okay. Do you agree? I am obviously in favor of that.
Prairie Dawn versus Cotter Pendoozer. Kind of two similar people in a way.
Yeah. Both very forceful, do what they want, get shit done kind of characters. Can whip people into shape to, get them to follow them.
I think there's something so real about Cotterpin, though.
Especially in what we've seen. Prairie Dawn is a bit of a character in a sketch who's very good. Versus Cotterpin is like, we've seen her go through a lot with not wanting to be, the architect or dealing with her family troubles, trying to make friends. Like, it's when you get 5 seasons of depth with a character, it's hard to not feel a little bit more attached to them.
So I think it's got to be Cotterpin.
I can give it to Cotterpin. Top right corner of our bracket.
Wembley Fraggle versus Camilla. Wembley.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Only one of these people sang at Jim's funeral.
Well,
and I think
I'd be surprised if Camilla wasn't in there too. But
I suppose so. But he had a place of honor. He is rarefied air. I'd say.
If I don't know why this was my example, because neither of these would happen. I was gonna say, if I had to get a tattoo of one of these Muppets. Like, if that's the ultimate, which one's my favorite?
Yeah.
People I think it'd be Wembley or like just the little
chicken. Why?
That'd be pretty good too. But I think like now that I'm actually thinking about this, I'm like, getting the little banana tree design from his shirt as just like a little logo tattoo.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool. Idea. Yeah.
Just get a pattern of them across my whole chest.
Oh, Matt, you have a shirt on. You never have to put a shirt on again.
No.
This next one is tricky, Matt.
You think
Big
so?
Big Bird versus Oscar the Grouch.
It is a Carol versus Carol extravaganza. I want to know your immediate reaction. What is your heart saying?
As much as I personally love Oscar, I think Big Bird is one of those Muppets who has stepped into being more real than puppet, basically. And Oscar, not so much.
I am on your side. I also vote Big Bird because I think Oscar is a great character. but I'm never terribly surprised by what we get from Oscar. If that makes sense. Like what we usually get out of Oscar is the same thing, even when it's great. And yeah, I'm more excited to see Big Bird on my TV than Oscar.
I'm always surprisingly delighted by Big Bird.
This might be a curse of Oscar not being used as well as Big Bird, especially these days.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
if I had to choose
Oscar.
if I could meet Big Bird or Oscar, I would say Big Bird.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. And, we got to make tough choices in this bracket. So
that's right.
That's a tough
Emily
choice.
Bear versus Red Fraggle. Maybe not
sometimes,
quite as tough a choice.
Yeah, sometimes we don't have to make tough choices.
Because it's got to be Red, right?
It's got to be Red.
Like you said, we spent 5 seasons getting to know her.
Mm-hmm. And again, she just has a lot more going on than Emily Bear does.
Yeah.
And if they,
all of her likes and dislikes, favorite sports.
Yeah. No, 100% Red Fraggle takes it to the next round.
Next up, Marvin Suggs versus Rizzo.
I love Rizzo so much.
Watch. He's so funny. So funny.
Especially when you think of Muppet Christmas Carol, which I know technically we haven't watched for our podcast yet, but everyone has seen. Yeah. And it is great. So
and Marvin just got lucky with his group he was in up until this
point.
Yeah.
He was against Splurge and Gladys the Lunch Lady. Like, yeah, of course he took it. But Rizzo defeats Marvin Suggs.
Then Scred versus Ernie. I would just love to shake Ernie's hand. I would love to. I love her. I think Ernie's great. And I think Scred's gotten all the glory he deserves at this point.
I 100% agree. I think Scred is great. I think he deserves every bit of praise we have placed on him so far in this episode. But I do think we both love Bert and Ernie. Not a bad word to say about either of them. So, Ernie, you go on to the next round.
The next matchup, Miss Piggy versus Cookie Monster.
That's like a final round kind of clash.
I think Cookie's got the juice. I think he's got this one.
Wow. I think that's a very bold statement.
He's got range. He's got fame. He's just as famous as Miss Piggy. He's maybe more famous than Miss Piggy, honestly.
I mean, that'd be a hard competition. I think Miss Piggy, it depends on what age of person you're asking. But I think it depends on what age of person you're asking, obviously, because I think kids are obviously gonna love Cookie Monster more than Miss Piggy. They see him a lot more. They're aware of him in ways they are not necessarily aware of Miss Piggy. But Miss Piggy is a cultural icon.
But I think Cookie Monster is too.
I don't think you're wrong. I think this is just easily the toughest matchup of this round. Like Big Bird and Oscar was a tough matchup, but this one is on another level. Like truly could be the last two if they were on opposite sides of this bracket.
I honestly don't know what to do. I think there's a point where you have enough Miss Piggy, but I don't think there's a point where you have enough Cookie Monster. I think he's going to keep reinventing himself and just like he is an elemental force. But Miss Piggy kind of is too. So I don't know.
This is maybe unfair. I think Frank Oz's Piggy is a better character to me than Eric Jacobson's Miss Piggy.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
It's not even a performance note necessarily. Yeah. I think this is a writing thing. I think it's a usage case of how and when she's used. And these days, if I'm getting Miss Piggy in something, I'm not exactly stoked because I kind of know what we're going to get. And it's kind of an unfortunately predictable Miss Piggy these days.
Yep.
Cookie Monster, I'm thinking to a while back, this is probably years ago now, but he did the thing with John Oliver where they did like the news together. And then there's great bloopers of that. And we just get to see more of, I was going to say the raw Cookie Monster. Did not mean to do a wordplay there. But I do think your initial instinct is right in this, Sam, and we might have to give this to Cookie Monster.
And I think he's found new life with Gonger and will continue to live on.
I think we give it to Cookie Monster. That might be the one we get yelled at the most for.
Yeah, you might be right. The next one up is an easy one, I think. Scooter versus Kermit.
Yeah,
The
sorry,
guy
Scooter.
nobody really likes that much versus Kermit.
That guy versus the
Yeah.
icon of the entire brand. So sorry, Scooter. You are left behind.
The final one of this round. Mew versus Grover. Mew the cat toy from one special that no one's ever seen versus comedy legend Grover, the cute little monster. The monster at the end of this book. The waiter at every restaurant himself.
I mean,
Grover.
Don't act like it's not Grover.
Grover,
there's a lot of, I
love
think,
ya.
Muppets who have made it to this round specifically that we have, we love
Yeah.
Mew. But at
Yeah.
a certain point, the facts must be dealt with. And
Yeah.
Grover is a better character than Mew.
Yep, that's
So,
true. It's an unfortunate fact of life.
So that brings us to our Sweet 16. I'll read through them real quick now that we're getting lower here. We've got Rolf Jr. Gorg, Sprocket, Tamanella Grinderfall, Gonzo, Dr. Teeth, Delbert the LaChoy Dragon, Cotter Pin Doozer, Wembley Fraggle, Big Bird, Red Fraggle, Rizzo, Ernie, Cookie Monster, Kermit, and Grover.
Well, I feel like one of these things is not like the other, and that is Delbert the LaChoy Dragon.
I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe the only character on this entire list that if you put a picture of all of them in front of somebody, they would not have any idea what it was.
They think it was the dinosaur from Mac and Cheese.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So we've got Rolf versus Junior Gorg in the first matchup of Sweet 16. I mean, we love Junior Gorg.
Yeah.
But it's Rolf.
But we love Rolf.
We love Rolf.
Everybody loves to see Rolf popping up. So we're giving it to Rolf.
We're giving it to Rolf. He moves on to the Elite Eight.
And then another dog versus another kind of magical creature. Sprocket versus Tamanilla Grinderfall. And I love Sprocket so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I barely wanted Tamanilla to win last one, really. I just was being a stinker. But
I think, like the last round where I said there were a number of Muppets who we love, but had maybe reached the end of their potential. In this list, I think Tamanilla has met her match.
I think you're right. Because Sprocket and Rolf, I think I know who's going to win, but that's still a heartbreaking decision.
It's a heartbreaker. We love Sprocket. Yeah. We love Tamanilla. No hard feelings to Tamanilla, but we have to acknowledge that we have more fond memories of Sprocket than we do of Tamanilla.
This next one, my heart not going to break his heart. Gonzo versus Dr. Teeth.
Yeah, congrats, Gonzo. I don't think we're going to put up too big of a fight. Another, Muppet Dr. Teeth who barely scraped it by the last round against Beaker, so he does lose to Gonzo.
Gonzo is a human man. He's my friend.
Yeah, Gonzo is maybe one of the Muppets we relate to the most.
That's right. Delbert the LaChoy Dragon versus Cotterpin Doozer.
Okay.
It's time for Delbert to go away.
I understand. I love him with all my heart, but I can't acknowledge that Cotterpin is a better character. And, again, Muppets sometimes reach the end of their potential. And I appreciate you letting Delbert get that far.
Such a eerie thing to say, reached the end of your potential. It's like what you get when you get laid off, an email that says that. Next up, Wembley Fraggle versus Big Bird. Is this going to have to be a Big Bird is just fucking Big Bird situation?
I mean, I'm happy to hear arguments against Big Bird.
I think Wembley is a story machine. Wembley teaches empathy. He is kindness personified. He is the best character in Fraggle Rock, I'd say. Big Bird is maybe not even the best character in Sesame Street. He just is impressive. I mean, we don't like Big Bird, right? Like, sometimes Big Bird's annoying.
But are you going to go to have you been to the theater to watch Follow That Wembley?
No, Follow That Bird was pretty good. Remember when he cried that tear of pure mercury? when he was in China that one time too.
That's the thing is, Big Bird can hold down a whole movie multiple times.
Yeah,
he's going to China. He's going to Japan.
Yeah, that's
he is meeting an Egyptian god. And
so you're a Big Bird guy. Is that what you're saying?
I'm a Big Bird guy. I got Big Bird feet and pants in my closet. I love Wembley, but I think
God.
I don't know. My heart says Big Bird.
Will you at least say the words? It's a pretty close one.
Oh, it's absolutely a close one. I think this is one of those purely my gut says Big Bird, and the more I dig into it, the more I'm convinced.
Okay. I think you're right. The more you dig into it, the more I'm convinced too. This next one I think is the one where someone's outlived their usefulness again. Red versus Rizzo. Rizzo's a delight. Red's just okay.
Okay, I was not sure, honestly, which one you were going to say outlived.
I'm not going to pretend like Red's better than Rizzo. There's no.
All right.
I'm not a fool.
Yeah, I think we give it to Rizzo. It's an unfortunate one that Red,
yeah,
is left behind there. But again,
great.
Tough decisions have to be made, and Rizzo's
if she'd been up against Wembley would have won that one too.
Next one's a bit challenging as well, which you feel like we got to stop saying right now because it's just going to get harder from here. But Ernie versus Cookie Monster.
I mean, we just said Cookie Monster was akin to a god, so I think it's got to be Cookie Monster. Ernie's just barely limping by these days, I feel like, but Cookie's still going.
No, I think I agree. I think Ernie, great. Cookie Monster, greater.
Cookie is forever. Kermit versus Grover.
The eternal battle.
I like Grover better.
Frankly, I think I like Grover better too.
I like Grover better than Kermit.
I think, another thing that they let the Sesame Street Muppets do more than they do with the Disney Muppets, and this is true in the past, it's true these days, is they let them get a little bit more wild when they're making one-off appearances on things. And a little recency bias, I just watched the Sesame Street episode of Scrubs last night, which Grover has a little highlight in. But I think in general, while they give us great sketches when they're together, the reason those are great sketches is because Grover is in them.
Yes. Okay.
So if we are picking our favorite Muppets and which Muppet we enjoy watching the most, I think Grover has to defeat Kermit.
He's been in more good skits than Kermit, for damn sure.
Yeah, like obviously you wouldn't have any of this without Kermit, but we
go to
have
hell,
to
Kermit.
Give it.
No, go to hell, Kermit.
Well, that brings us to the Elite Eight.
Yeesh.
Rolf, Sprocket, Gonzo,
happened so fast.
Cotterpin Doozer.
Yep.
I mean, it's been 2.5 hours. It's not that fast.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Big Bird, Rizzo, Cookie Monster, and Grover are the Elite Eight.
Dear Lord.
Congrats.
That's a pretty good list.
I just got to say, congrats to Cotterpin Doozer.
I think her time is numbered, but yeah.
Well, we'll find out soon. But I got to say, given this entire list, I can't imagine a lot of people who haven't listened to every episode of this podcast would have put Cotterpin in the Elite
Would have put
8.
any Doozer on here. Yeah, that's right.
So our first matchup, dog, eat dog.
I think Rolf is the Rolf is Sprocket before there was Sprocket.
Yeah, we've got, many Muppet dogs, including Rufus, paved the way for Sprocket. But Rolf is that true first Muppet dog.
I think Sprocket would bow down. I think he would say, yes, my king.
The next matchup, Gonzo versus Cotterpin Doozer.
I mean, I think it's a blowout. But
yeah, I would love to say anything to defend Cotterpin Doozer here, but Gonzo is a fantastic character, always has been, and I can't, in good conscience, put Cotterpin above Gonzo.
I think this next one is another one where I can't in good conscience put one above the other, because it's Big Bird versus Rizzo.
It is Big Bird versus Rizzo.
Big Bird's changed the world. Rizzo runs a restaurant
clearly
at Disney World.
Expendable.
Yeah. He's clearly expendable. That's a sad thing to say, but totally true. Yeah.
Gone. We are not sitting here saying, wow, the Muppets are dead. They cannot exist without Rizzo the Rat. But if Sesame Street said, hey, we're getting rid of Big Bird,
that would be a rough one.
There'd be riots in the streets.
Yeah.
Like,
Big Bird, at least in the part we're watching of Sesame Street, is the main character of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I think, I think you have to give it to Big Bird, unfortunately.
All right. We did, and it's done.
It's done. And our last matchup of the Elite Eight.
We'll say at the same time.
Cookie Monster versus
Grover.
Oh.
They're both the same guy. They're both blue, voiced by the same guy, both monsters, both on Sesame Street.
Yeah, on one hand, you have Cookie Monster, who, pops up from time to time, is a lot of fun, can throw a lot of celebrities sort of off their game, which is a nice trait. That they sort of, no matter who it is, they're sort of reduced to a child instantly when confronted with Cookie Monster. And then I think on the flip side of that, you have Grover, who has a bit more of a personality sometimes and is able to sort of say things that Cookie Monster maybe isn't. Literally, but even as I'm saying this, I'm leaning towards Cookie Monster still.
I think they're both the same, but I think Cookie Monster is more flexible than Grover. I think he can fit into more situations.
Well, and I just, again, if it comes down to, if I got to watch a celebrity and one of these guys, I feel like Cookie Monster is going to make whatever celebrity he's working with better.
Up.
Yeah. Well, also, bust up, but also just that person will look better when working with Cookie Monster.
This is a hard one, but I have to go with Cookie Monster too, I think.
I totally agree. I think that's a very difficult one. And, we have put ourselves in this position where we have to choose. So at some point that decision has to be made. But I do think Cookie Monster, I feel good about that.
Okay, we're down to our final four.
It's the final four, folks. We have Rolf, Gonzo, Big Bird, and Cookie Monster. Now that's a list.
That's a list. This is good. We're doing a good job, I think.
I mean, I hope so.
We got the Sesame Street and the Muppet side.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wholly unintentional, but it did work out that way.
We have pretty good representation of different performers.
Yeah, we've got, if we're going original, we got Jim, Dave, Carol, and Frank.
Okay, so Rolf versus Gonzo.
If my gut is saying anything, it's struggling, Sam.
I genuinely like Rolf better than Gonzo. He's more fun to watch for me. Gonzo, I like him in Muppet Movie. Gonzo outside of Muppet Movie, I don't always connect with as well. Rolf, I want to be best friends with Rolf and go to the bar and drink at that bar that Rolf works at and see Rolf and say, hey, Rolf, what's going on, man? Rolf is my boy.
I guess I'm leaning towards Rolf as well. I think your argument is sound. I think because
Rolf is my boy. That's my argument.
Well, I think just in general, your explanation there of Rolf and Gonzo, I think at times can be obnoxious. And I think for the most part, as a character, he has my heart. I love Gonzo. But there are definitely times where I'm like, okay, come on. That's what we're doing. In a way that I don't know if I've ever felt that about Rolf.
It took Gonzo a long time to find his feet, too. And the thing he settled on is kind of weird because he's not weird. He wears a sweater vest and he's the most normal guy.
Well, he's also just been through such a character change. Like in the first season of Muppet Show, he is the quiet, nervous stunt performer who, I don't know whether or not I like him better than other Gonzos, but Muppet Christmas Carol Gonzo, top notch, very strong.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
But these days, Gonzo is a lot. I mean, and I hate, this isn't, I'm trying not to say this is a lot of a recent Muppet problem. Yeah. But I do think because we see them less, and I think sometimes the writing is not as great as what we're currently watching in the 80s, which is not a fair bar to judge them against. But I think I have a hard time thinking about I don't know. The Jimmy Dean Rolf is so much
so
in
good.
the category of like the best things that we ever watched.
He's so what the Muppets should be and are.
I think you can put Rolf. Put Rolf in the finals.
Everybody knew it was going to happen anyway.
I know, but like, I honestly wanted to challenge my own assumptions and understand why I like Rolf. And I think putting him against Gonzo was the truest test of that, because I do really like Gonzo. But again, I've never thought about getting a Gonzo tattoo.
Yeah. Rolf's the platonic idea of a Muppet.
I have thought about getting a Rolf tattoo.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Every time I look through like Jim Henson The Works or the Imagination Illustrated books and I see Jim's first sketches of Muppets, I love how crazy some of them are. And like the very toothy early Rolf drawing, the idea of preserving that on my skin forever sounds
That's a pretty fun one.
Like a good idea currently, but if I sleep on it, maybe not.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then our other Final Four matchup is Big Bird versus Cookie Monster from the Sesame Street contingent.
What do you think?
I can see your face, and I know what you're gonna say. I don't think there's I don't even think there's a percentage point of you that says to give this to Big Bird.
No, I don't. That's not true at all, actually. I think giving it to Cookie Monster would be colored by my own like biases a little bit. I think Big Bird is a better character than Cookie Monster. As much as Rolf is one side of what a Muppet is, I think Big Bird is the other side of what a Muppet is. Like they are they are like the heart and the humor, and Rolf and Cookie Monster are kind of similar. Like
I have never thought of it that way, but you're 100% right. Like Cookie Monster is Rolf in a lot of ways, in the way that they interact with people.
And they go like they put their hands on their heads and they're like, oh boy. Yeah, they have a lot of the same idiosyncrasies.
They're both big bags.
And they're big infinite bags. That also is true.
But I love the way you talked about Big Bird being sort of the balance there of he is the heart. He is one of, not obviously the first Muppet to show that you could have an emotional connection with a character. Yeah. I believe, if we looked back, we would find other characters, but that was 1969 when he started being that sort of character. And there was only so many Muppets before that point to connect with. So the fact that you made people believe in this 8-foot tall bird and feel for him and connect with him, and still to this day is one of the most popular characters in the world.
And it's like Carol had the spirit of what, like, it's so interesting that he had to be like separated from them, but was still like, he was like so representative of what the Muppets were.
No,
that I think it's got to be Big Bird.
Yeah, the purity of Carol and Big Bird together, I think, move Big Bird to the next round.
Congratulations, Big Bird.
You got to watch I Am Big Bird.
I know I have to. I don't know.
You're going to sob your eyes out.
I almost was sobbing right now thinking about hypothetically watching it.
No, you need to watch it because it's a fantastic documentary and it will definitely make you cry.
Well, I do cry when I think about Big Bird too hard. So, because
I'm not trying to make you cry, but I am saying you should watch that documentary that will make you cry.
I'm glad he beat Wembley, Matt. I'll say it.
Yeah, imagine we're here and Big Bird was, left behind 3 rounds ago.
Wembley versus Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster would just stomp Wembley. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know if Wembley would have beat Rizzo, though.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right about that.
So we have done it, folks. We are in the final matchup of Commitment Muppet Madness 2025. It's all come down to this. It is Rolf. It is Big Bird.
If either of them win, I won't be upset. Rolf, in a lot of ways, was, like you were saying, like kids were screaming Rolf's name in the audience of the Jimmy Dean show, like before they were screaming for Big Bird.
Yeah, but taking timing out of it, a lot more kids have screamed Big Bird's name at this point.
Yeah, and he's a feat. Like, he is one man's whole artistic life poured into like making this big bird real and jump from truck to truck and roller skate. And yeah, I mean,
yeah, if we're talking puppetry and interesting design and use of materials to create a super believable creature, I think Big Bird takes that part.
yeah,
But if we're looking at a character that we've enjoyed and pave the way for what the Muppets became, it is hard to imagine any of this happens without Rolf.
Yeah.
And
that's true. But Big Bird was early enough that you could kind of say the same thing about Big Bird.
Oh, 100%. I think Big Bird is also a major reason the Muppets have persisted to this day. Like, without him, I don't think Sesame Street is as successful as it is. I think if I'm trying to throw every bit of context at this that I can think of, I think when we do catch-up episodes, we are most excited to find more Jimmy Dean clips that we have never seen.
That's true. If you found a bunch of Big Bird clips, I would say, God, why did you find a bunch of Big Bird clips?
And usually when we do find Big Bird clips, the most enjoyable part of it for us is Carol being snarky, acting like an adult, talking to other adults.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Which, to be fair, is kind of Rolf's thing too sometimes.
Yeah.
But obviously it's hard. It's the finals. Obviously we love both of these characters because they've made it this far. But my heart, predictably, I think, says Rolf.
I think you're right. I think he's the best Muppet.
We've said it 1,000 times on this podcast.
Shocker. We've scientifically proven it now. Rolf is the best Muppet.
Sam just pasted it into the box. He's making the font bigger and bigger as I speak. Rolf,
I feel comfortable with that. I feel okay with that. Do you feel okay with that?
I feel okay with it because I think it's true of us, of our feelings about the Muppets. I don't think in any of our Sesame Street conversations we have ever uttered the words, I think Big Bird is my favorite Muppet.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Matt. You're exactly right.
But I think we have said that at least a dozen times about Rolf.
So
when we've had guests on the show to ask us who our favorite Muppet is, I think almost unanimously we have said Rolf.
The Jimmy Dean Rolf stuff, that's my favorite. Yeah.
While it may not be a surprise to listeners of this podcast, it's just true.
We've been through a lot today, Matt. The lows and highs.
And hey, we thought it would take 4 hours, and it didn't even take 3.
It almost took 3.
It didn't even take 3. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that Muppet bracket. It was fun for me. I don't know if you had fun, Sam, or if that was torture.
I feel like we got to say a lot of truths about Muppets, how we feel. I think we scratched the surface into something deep every now and then.
It definitely made me examine some of my feelings about certain Muppets, and I think you helped me see some Muppets in some different ways that I wouldn't have thought of them. So I'm glad we had this discussion.
I'm so curious to see other people's brackets, though.
Yeah, I will, begin that process soon. Now that we have a finalized bracket of seeing how close other people came, I did take a glance at some of them already, and I gotta say, I think some of you were really going with your hearts and not predicting what we were actually going to pick, because you made some bold choices. I'm just going to say that, one of you, your final 4 include the 2-headed monster.
Oh, guys. Come on.
I'm just going to put that out there.
Their beards alone disqualified them immediately. They got beat by Thog.
That same bracket. And again, not dunking on you too much. But you did have Rolf lose to Marjorie the Trash Heap in the second round.
Oh. What? Okay.
So again,
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Whatever you want. That's great.
We obviously wholly disagree with your take on Rolf.
Yeah.
But maybe some people out there.
Horse races. Everybody gets to pick their favorite.
So wise, Sam.
Mm-hmm. Man, it's been a pleasure serving with you for 4 years in this commitment. Thank you for everything. For doing so much research. For keeping our schedule going. For copying and pasting a million things.
Thank you for making us sound smart when you edit this podcast.
It's so satisfying to cut out us saying like 10 extra dumb jokes at the end when I should just be like, we'll just say the one funny joke and then we'll cut out all the other ones that we try to be more funny. Yes.
Yeah,
or
that's
the
great,
Googling that we do occasionally.
Those are the ones that keep me up at night. I can like they stick in my brain after we finish a recording where I'm like, I shouldn't have said that dumb shit. And I listen to the episode and I'm like, hey, I guess I didn't say that dumb shit.
And only I know, and I'm taking it to my grave.
But yes, thank you to you, Sam, for making us a good podcast. And thank you to everyone who has listened for the last 4 years for keeping this podcast going, whether you're actually monetarily supporting us on Patreon or supporting us by listening or buying merch or just listening and telling your friends. All of that is appreciated. Well, before we get out of here, Sam, for, posterity, I feel like I should ask, did you watch any non-Muppet things this week?
Oh, Matt, we've been talking for 3 hours.
I am aware, but, at a certain point, you got to fall back into patterns.
Oh, when you said that you got back, I'm going to keep it so short. When you said you got back into Balatro, I started playing Balatro too. And I've been playing Balatro. And I got to stop, but that's what I've been doing, playing Balatro.
Ooh, well, similarly,
I never get any better at it.
Similarly, I was also on my phone a lot this past weekend because I was traveling and played all the way through Monument Valley 1 and 2.
Yes. I haven't thought about those games in a dog's age.
I'd played Monument Valley all the way through once before, but it's a good plane game, so I fired it up again and then beat it again. And so before my next flight, I went and bought Monument Valley 2 and played through that for the first time.
Great.
And there's apparently a third one that I think is exclusive to Netflix games right now. So
I thought it was like an Apple TV game or something. But
I think it might be only weirdly exclusive to streaming platforms for some reason. But that meant I couldn't play it while on a plane because I didn't want to pay for the Wi-Fi. Before we get out of here, we got to let you know what we're watching next time. And the top of the episode, I said that this episode was an episode that wasn't moving the needle on us catching up with the Muppets in our chronological timeline. And guess what, folks?
Oh, man, I hate you.
Our next episode is also not going to move the needle because
I'm going to kill you.
Well, Sam, the next episode that these lovely folks will hear will be our very special Walt Disney World podcast.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Never mind. I won't kill you.
Yeah, Sam and I are going to Walt Disney World pretty much as you're hearing this episode, to pay our respects to Muppet Vision 3D and the Muppets Courtyard, and we're bringing our podcasting equipment with us. So for our Patreon exclusive Discord people, we'll be live streaming a bit at some point while we're there. And of course, we will be recording our thoughts while we are in the parks to share them with all of you in our next episode. Well, as always, we want to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast. 4 years ago, we reached out to our friend Tuna and said, hey, we're doing this silly little Muppet thing. You got a banjo? And he said, of course I have a banjo. I'm Tuna.
Yeah.
And Cassie Wilson, who we have shouted out many times on this podcast, but you should be following if you are not already on Instagram and everywhere else. It's just at Cassie Wilson. That's Wilson with 2 L's _. She's the one singing the theme song. Also did us a big favor. Reached out to her and just said, hey, doing this silly little Muppet podcast, and you have a good voice. Want to sing this and do a little bit of a Kermit impression? And she did not hesitate.
History.
But yes, you can go over to Kermitment.com to listen to this and all other Kermitment episodes. And, find merch. Take a look at our completed Muppet bracket, which will go up at the same time this episode goes up. And while you're listening to this podcast, don't forget to tell your friends about it, and rate us and review us on iTunes, Apple Podcast, whatever they're calling it these days. If you have any questions for us, or if you're angry about one of our specific choices, feel free to let us know at mail@commitment.com. Or you can follow this podcast on social media at Commitment Pod in most places, or at commitment.com on Blue Sky. And you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz, but also we're right. So don't get mad at us because we're right.
Yeah, don't at us. And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.